Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Y'all drop a 10. I wasn't in the chat if I could be heard, man. Praise to the Creator, God maker, maker sons, God's brother. Malaki Macabee, y'all see the title. How the Jewish scribes condemned the Nazarene. Y'all know what time it is. But I say long time, bro. Hey, I still been short. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been on the path. You know, when we ain't cross paths, whatever it is, I'm short. Sword. Much love and light. I still keep my heart in the building. Bless love, family. I pray to the great God, the God maker, the maker of sons, moons, stars. Oh, wait. That back up there. Easy money. As usual, we're going to piss off a lot of people today, but they be all right. People get shot every day, B. Be all right. People's feelings get hurt every day. You be all right. Yeah. We're going to talk about it today, though. Y'all hit that thumbs up. It's free. You know, wipe your feet off at the door, take them shoes off. Chop it up with your little brother, man. All good. Mayaka Allah, my brother. That's the word out. Probably see your face shortly, huh? My brother, Bishop Dexter, Chief Keezy, Daisy. That's the word out. Hey, man, y'all share this not a little credit gang chat, man. Let them know, you know, Megaton Light Bomb is live. You dig? Short fuse. We gonna get it done, though, man. Let the music ride. Y'all do them 10,000 in the chat if I could be heard. We can go ahead and share some of this. Oh, wait.
right, question for Is. Would you kill your child, your son, if your God told you to?
You said the Most High told me to?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
A 22-year-old woman told hotel workers in Holmes County that she had been directed by God, to go on a shooting spree about the solar eclipse, and that not long after she left the hotel in a purple Dodge Challenger driving to the interstate, traveling west, shooting into two cars. One of the drivers was shot in the neck, the other grazed in his arm.
If your God came to you right now, tonight, in pomp and glory, shining, and he commanded the death of your child, would you sacrifice your child?
If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
Peter Lucas Moses refers to himself as a radical religious person who is with the Black Hebrews. And he just pleaded guilty to killing a four-year-old and a woman that he was living with. He killed the 4-year-old because he thought he was gay.
Moses believed 4-year-old Higginbotham was homosexual. Klein says Moses took Higginbotham to the garage, played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him. If
God came to you and told you to sacrifice your kid, would you sacrifice your kid?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
God is called the terrible, demon-like power. God is called the terrible, demon-like power. God is called the terrible, demon-like power. So Napa means empty, you could say, or open. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible.
According to the criminal complaint, Polite told investigators God told him to shoot Pastor Germany. And he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind.
Would you kill your child or your grandchild if your God told you to?
Oh, man.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes. But I think that it would be a test. I don't think the Lord would actually tell you to do it. I think it would just be a test because we can see.
You'd be willing to go through with it?
I'll go through any trial the Lord puts me through.
Leader Yahweh Ben-Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God, one day in 1981, her North Dade home became a house of death. Banks and her husband, Carlton Carey, had just returned from talking with police about another Yahweh member who had been decapitated. Today, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is charged in her attempted murder and the death of her husband. October 1986, Yahweh's take over an Opalaka apartment building. Two residents who were ordered to leave publicly complained. That night, both were shot to death.
Wow! Judah, do you hear me? If the Most High Yahweh tells you to kill your family, would you do it? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Oh, Judah, no. Damn.
Judah didn't mean that, y'all.
If the Most High say, put your family down, would you do it for the Most High?
By faith, yes. By faith, yes. But he's going to tell me not to do it, just like he did Abraham. We have a story like that already. Next.
The moral law is that if a child was to be rebellious, towards their parents, they was to be taken out and be stoned to death because of that. You see what I'm saying?
Would you do that? Would you do that if your God came back to you today in glory and said, I want you to stone your son if he get rebellious? Would you? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off
your loved ones, would you do it, brother?
If I had made the mistake, if I didn't have ancestors inside of me and I made the mistake to make babies with outside nations, and then I heard the download from my ancestors saying that you need to put them away, yes, I will put them away. Yes, I will put them away.
Okay, Judah Nazarene, if the Most High come to you and say, I want you to put down your family, I have a better movement for you that I need you to do, would you do it?
They're out of here. They're out of here.
Yeah. Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud. Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud.
Take pray deep where the pain don't hide. Down in the dirt where the hurt reside. He spoke one truth and the cloud slid wide, letting sun hit the block like a shift in the tide. Take acts first, Father, make the unseen near, and the sky bow down just to make things clear. Teach me truth, let the pride disappear. Show me my flaws so the path steer clear. I seen broke hearts start breathing again. Seen doubts creep in when the spirit descend. When you call from the depth, ain't no falling back in. Jehovah raise you up, no Lord contends. Take away self, let the weakness confess. Turn a soul from the chaos to a place of rest. Seen a lost man stretch past the chains and the nets, cause the purpose stood firm under pressure and stress.
Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud. Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud.
I came from the low where the hurt sit deep, where the nights get long and the hope gets weak. But Tay's prayer hit, woke the pain out of sleep, made the whole hood feel what the wise ones speak. Make me strong in thee, and the chains fell down. Turn an unheard voice to a well-known sound. Fear is a thief, steady blocking your crown, but the truth punched through, knocked the lies to the ground. Light up the heart, ditch the self-made clout, make the inner man glow, cause he truly devout. Seen deep wounds close from the inside out, seen a man gain hope where he once had doubt. OSP gave game that the world don't teach. Truth so complete, you can feel it in speech. Every lesson a reminder why we push for the peak, and only putting words to action bring the goal in reach.
Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud. Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you knowin' what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud.
Now the Cosmo and Erba got the world on shift. Dark clouds take flight like Ethereum ships. Souls lost in the rifts and the messenger swift. Bearing orders from Jehovah on a heavenly writ. Tay walk first, so the pathway cleared. Ask creator for the truth, no vanity near. Make me upright, Father, keep my vision sincere. Let the old world fade, bring the new world here. I seen hope stay warm in the season of cold. Seen faith carry man down a beaten road. I seen the spirit hold firm with a massive load. Seen man stand pat when the plan unfold. Every creed that we chant get intention now. Every seed that we plant seek ascension now. Let Jehovah in your heart, ain't no stressing you out. Releasing all the tension that's been pressing you down.
Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you know what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud. Taste prayer, hit the heavens when it's leaving the mouth. Wake up the old souls that been sleep on the couch. When you know what you know and ain't no speaking in doubt. And when Jehovah get to show and raise a king from a cloud.
Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted. Records get twisted. Truth wasn't written, it lived and applied. Images carved, but they not what they imply. Copies get lifted and passed to the scribes, hands on the script, but it slowly run dry. Circles and lines held the truth they can't hide, pointing to the all but reduced to a sign. Told not to seek it, just stay and comply, but light get diminished the moment it's tied. Priests in the center, the people outside, words getting filtered before they even apply. Gatekeepers shaping what souls can't defy. Twist the truth in the text so the ego align. Nothing was said about looking inside. All of the noise outside keep the mind occupied. Truth was a whisper they learned to divide, buried in the scriptures that were written in lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Voices get carried and shift in the span. Truth leave the source, get reshaped by hand. Spoken outside, but not part of the plan. So hear it clear without the preaching of man. Leaders keep building the heavens they command. Guards along the path, so it passed through a brain. Teaching the code, so obedience stand. Blocking the truth from the masses caught up in the shame. Some start to notice it wasn't so grand. The rise then decline all across the land. Stories get buried, then uncovered in sand. Every time echo patterns they don't understand. Reading all the records, the mind expands. Seeing the same cycle that once sunk pan. The meanings got altered the further they ran, and they took it as truth, then made laws in the clan. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Looking at records, the truth can be known. Same things repeated, then written in stone. Teachings get layered and widely outgrown. Deeper foundations not built in the homes. Voices not living out, setting the tone. Taking his law, 9 followers grown. Those who will question get left on their own. Told just accept what the elders condone. Patterns keep repeating, times clearly flown. Rising and falling the ways they have grown. Nothing was random, the seeds have been sown. Cycles keep turning and the harvest is wrong. Some start to see it and question the throne. Some keep defending when the proof has been shown. Nothing to argue, the cover's been blown. Just seeing it clear with no need to atone. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies.
Man, that deal go hard, boy. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. Oh, man, that deal go hard. Shout out to the CGG. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Nothing but love and all that good stuff in between. Shout out to the Bronze Yoga in the building. Bronze, we need to hook up, man. Hopefully today or something. We need to hook up, right? You know what I mean? This bro's been pulling through the city gates, boy. You know what I mean? You know, you got to see the Bronze. You did. Shout out to the Bronze, yo. Shout out to my brother out of Naptown, BC, Brandon Carter in the building. What's the word, huh? Oh, wait. My sister in Michigan, Angelic. What's the word, Angelic? Love, light, and all that good stuff in between. Got the mayor of the West Side in the building, literally. My brother and your brother, Aki Abdiel Ben Israel. Salute, King, my brother. What's the word? What's the word? Nazarene is saying faith is in the building. What's the skinny eye? Hey, Sister Vanette Pope is in the building, love and light. Shout out to my brother Selah Shalom, man. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Peace to the God. This is my bro right here. Hey, look, I'll get you in a watch. We go this playlist and just hit play. If you want to catch up kind of quick on what we on, I advise you to do that. That brother got videos from 15 years ago talking about this light that's catching, you know what I mean, a lot of attention right now, man. A lot of Millie Mouth devotees are mad. Very, very mad. Shout out to my brother Selah Shalom, man. Much love, all right? Shout out to the 4 horsemen. You dig? Truly a plague to the false gods and their, you know what I mean, their so-called reign. Shout out to Prince Cosmo. My brother, Young Prince. What's the word? Man, I already know, boy. When I don't hear from you, you've been out there punching on something. You've been punching on somebody deity. What's the word, my Young Prince, man? It's my brethren. Nothing but love. I'm going to drop the link, man. Y'all hop on later or something. Shout out to this brother right here, brother Jericho. Met this brother in the flesh. Good brother. You dig? Probably out on that road right now. Be safe, all right? Nothing but love. Soul Bender 888. Who else we got up in here? My Yak in the building. My brother from Omaha, Johnny James, is in the building. What's the word? What's the word? Nothing but love. Bishop X, Imam Mahal in the building. Flo Rider to Ohio. Yeah, y'all in the building today. Y'all in the building. Nothing but love and all that good stuff in between. Let's get right to it, though. Let's get into this. I know y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the title. Enemies of the Light. How Jewish scribes condemn the Nazarene. Oh, wait. Highly controversial topic, but look, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, all right? Let me hit share screen real quick. Bang. Bang. Y'all know we just be locked and loaded. Ready to go ahead and get it. We touched on a little bit of it last video. We're going to go ahead and get it. We're gonna get our hands dirty today, though. All right, bang. All right, so that right there, that says more than scribes. You know, this is one of a document that we didn't have from a couple years. All right, so these are basically scribal enemies. There's something about it, man. When you get to exposing the deity, jokers start gritting teeth. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's all about. You know what I mean? I don't know if deep down they wish they could eat your ass or what, but there's a lot of teeth gritting lately. You know what I mean? You know what that is when somebody tighten their jaw up and clash their teeth together. Yeah, it be that type going on. Also whispering. You see them down there and, you know, whispering in each other's ear. Look, I'm gonna share something with y'all first, though. Before we get into this, right? We're gonna go into the Ark of Bond and the Owaspi, chapter 20. Now trip off, we'll be dealing with scribes. All right, so trip off Pharaoh scribes and what happened, right? There's chapter 20 and 17. It says Pharaoh scribes and recorders assembled in Kaona, and they appointed Phayah, an Egyptian, to write the departure of the Israelites out of Egypt. And Phayah wrote the account and called it the Exodus of the Hebrews. And it was recorded in the king's house of records, and copies of it were sent to the Lord's cities, and there recorded also, for such was the law of Egypt. Phayah's record was afterward accepted by Ezra. Ezra in your Bible. Ezra, second Ezra, chapter 14. You remember when he ended up drinking that fire water, and then the spirit came over him, and he got the spitting 40 days and 40 nights, and his scribes got to writing swiftly. Look what this saying. It said, for such was the law of Egypt. Phayah's record was afterward accepted by Ezra, and it's that which is known to this day as the first book of Exodus. Dang, watch this. 18. The book of Genesis, as it stood in the Egyptian records, was written by Akaboth and Daram and Hezed, and was the substance from which Ezra copied it through his scribes. Remember, we talking about scribes today. All right, and how these scribes were enemies of who we call Messiah or Yahshua or like whatever name and you throwing on them or whatever. I'm saying what ended up or led to his death was a group of powerful individuals, and they weren't just copying out Torahs. You dig? These men were judges on the highest court in the land. They had the authority of Rome backing them and could put you to death with a snap of a finger. So these scribes ain't just like when you think of a journalist today, Don Lemon or Anderson Cooper or something like that. Now, these were very, very powerful, influential men. They were also teachers of the Torah, meaning you had to go to them to get the proper breakdown. You see? So if one comes around and his teachings or his doctrine is opposite to theirs, and these are powerful men who hold influence over the people, then guess what? They have a very viable option on the table, which is to remove you off the board. These are powerful men. And to trip off this, you don't never hear anybody talk about the scribes when they read the New Testament. Everybody just say, oh, the Pharisee. You act like a Pharisee. You acting like a Pharisee and a Sadducee, or the Pharisees, man, right next to them in the very verse, and most of the verses, it says the scribes and Pharisees. The scribes and Pharisees. You never ask yourself, who the hell are these damn scribes? Right? But being a scribe is not a Hebrew invention. Scribes go back, to when words first started getting written, whether it was with the glyphs or whatever. Look at this. It say, and behold, I'm gonna do 18 again. The book of Genesis, as it stood in the Egyptian records, was written by Achaboth and Deram and Hezed, and was a substance from which Ezra copied it through his scribes, even as it is to this day. The inspiration of Genesis was from the god Osiris the false and his emissaries, chief of whom were Utaba in Egypt, who were angel servants to Osiris. And so far as the records now stand, the spirit of both books, talking about Genesis and Exodus, was the Egyptian version of the whole subject. Damn, that's crazy. True about this. And behold, it came to pass that the records were worthless. And to make matters worse, the records were so voluminous, meaning so large, being more than 6,000 books, that the scribes of Ezra could make neither head nor tail of them. Nevertheless, they were all written in the first place, not by the Israelites, but by their enemies. Where even so, the testimony of the miracles is none the weaker. So I ain't denying the miracles and all that, right? Thus ends the history of Moses' deliverance of the faith that's out of Egypt. Now, you may be kind of offended right now. I get it. You may be kind of offended and, dang, but what you mean? The problem, the real problem is this. The God that you worship is actually a book. Most people actually worship the Bible. It's worship today. You can't say nothing wrong about it or against it without somebody trying to remove you off the board or getting mad at you or start gritting their damn teeth. You see? The problem is that we have to get out of the vibration of worshiping a book or any book. You know what I mean? You read through it and take from it what's beneficial for you in your spiritual journey. What ain't beneficial, you don't deal with it. That's it. You know what I mean? It ain't beneficial to you. So what is you did? What do you doing? Like, I'm about to go deep into Leviticus and read about the burnt. Are you talking about when they chop the damn goat's head off and cut his organs out and chop his lower extremities off and cut the fat off the organs? And look, ain't none of y'all about to do that. So you might as well leave that where it is. You see? Now watch this. The problem is you're worshiping a book. Any book. You should be able to scrutinize whatever the hell you read. Let me share something with y'all. This right here is chapter 5 of the book of Discipline. Another book out of Owaspi. Notice what the subtitles say. It say God shows how mortals may attain inspiration from the Creator and from the angels of the second resurrection. Look at this word. It say, let all things be proved or supported by corresponding testimony known to be true. As the holy man perceives how things should be in the heavens above, so they are. The unholy man sees heavenly things only dimly. He binds himself in ancient revelations which have become corrupted. The unholy man binds himself in ancient revelations which have become corrupted. Of course, everything man touch become corrupted. It's just what it is. Look what verse 10 says. It says, the creator is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. So it ain't like, today the creator is further away from you than he was, or closer to you, or he was closer to King David than he is to you. Or closer to Moses than he is to you. The creator is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. So what you got to do, put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Strip off that. The real book is the book of creation, which include everything from your galaxies to your planets to your atmosphere, hell, even down to you. Even down to you. That shouldn't be offensive. You supposed to be the book anyway, right? I thought the laws of God are supposed to be written on the inside of you. Meaning you the book, right? So it's saying that the book that you're supposed to be relying on is creation. You should be able to study creation and find out more and more about your creator. Simple. Look what verse 11 say. Inspiration comes less by books than by which the creator or Jehovah wrote his words. See that? Read him and his works. So inspiration comes less by books. You got to get out of book worship. And that's the problem. You read things wherever you read them at, right? That is sideways. And how you can always spot a devotee is like this, because they'll argue with you that a circle is a square. Or apple is an orange. Like their job, they're an apologetic. They dare to defend it no matter what the cost is. Even if they gotta fall on the sword of just looking stupid as all hell. They don't care. You see? So it's telling you, like, stop depending on or stop worshiping books that were written by dead men. You did? You want to know about your creator? Go read the universe. Go study creation. How do you read it? You get real simple, people. How do you read the universe? Or how do you read nature or creation? The same way you do when you walk into any room you walk into. Don't you read the room? Ain't you observing the situation? Ain't you feeling certain shit? Like, oh no, this don't even fly right. I'm about to get up out of here. That's the same thing. Reading is taking in information by observation. It ain't just reading words and putting your alphabet together. You see, so the creator is letting it be known that his real book is his creation. You see? So you got to get out of the vibration of worship in any book, because that's what got you compromised. We played the video earlier. All Israelites saying they would kill their children if God told them to. Everybody, oh, what? I can't believe it. Well, I don't know why you can't believe they would say that. You're looking at people who are devoted to their God, and it's in the Bible. God told Abraham to offer up Isaac as a burnt offering. So it wasn't a surprise when all them niggas said, yeah. It's just letting you know they're compromised. You're devoted to something to where you can't call a spade a spade. You can't say, why we ain't heard? Hell no, I'm not doing that. Get the hell away from me. Why we ain't heard none of that? We heard hell, yeah, absolutely. Why? Because people worship the Bible. That's the point. You're worshiping a book. So when you read something that you know is wrong, you try to justify it. You see? You try to justify it. You can't skip across us. I'd have told you hell no, and probably kicked you up your ass by the time that the whole question got out your mouth. To be honest with you, hell no, I'm not doing that. No. You see, but when you compromise, you can't come right out and say that. Notice what it say again. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His words, his creations, right? Read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your what? Your own behavior. And in the happiness of your soul. It ain't hard to tell who is under what inspiration, who is under whose inspiration. It ain't hard. Study behavior, study character. It's easy. Chapter 9, inspiration, I speak. I have given you many sacred books, and I said to you, unless you judge them, you shall be caught in a snare. A snare is a trap, a pit, a pitfall. So we're saying there's many sacred books out here, but you're supposed to judge them, meaning read them and arrive at a righteous judgment within your mindset, right? Like, yeah, that's off right there. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to discern between right and wrong. You're supposed to discern between what's clean and what's filthy. Don't you wash your ass every morning and brush your teeth? Why? You're not telling the difference between what's clean and what's not, right? So why do you wash your rear end? Why do you brush your teeth? Why do you do any of that? Why do you put water on it? Because there's a difference between what's clean and what's not clean, right? You're making judgments every day. It's saying you're supposed to judge these books out here too. You don't just believe it just because it's written down somewhere. Judge it. Hell no, I'm not doing that. That's off. Right? Because if you don't judge them, you're going to be caught in a trap. And that's what we see from everybody in that video earlier. They all said they would. Why? Because they're trapped. They're compromised. They didn't judge the book. Even though the book tell you, beloved, believe not every spirit. But what? Try the spirit to know if it is of God. Why? Because many false ones have gone out into the world. So you're supposed to be trying the spirit. You don't just let whoever the hell come knocking at your door into the house, do you? No, you don't. Right? Look what it say. But unless you judge them, you should be caught in a snare. I charge you, you shall accept nothing from men, angels, or gods. Dang. Don't take nobody's word for it. But you should rely on your own inspiration. But you should rely on your own inspiration from your creator. Y'all, if that makes sense, and it's simple. If it's simple and it makes sense, y'all drop a 12,000 in the chat, man. We're going to take our time today. Let's get it done. Oh, we said they already duped and don't know it yet, huh? Drop that in the chat. It makes sense. Let's read about some of these scribes. You see? The scribes ain't just journalists like, a Don Lemon, like I said earlier. No, these is very, very powerful, influential men who could order your death at the snap of a finger, man. And they right there in the Bible, especially in the New Testament. And look, in most of the verses that his enemies approach him, them niggas is right there. And we just skip right over. We don't even ask who these people are. Look at this. Look what it says. It says scribes, officers of the highest court. The term scribe in Greek, grammatius, or Hebrew, sofer, is often implied to mean one who writes. However, in the context of the New Testament, these men were much more than just copyists of the Torah. They were highly educated experts in Jewish law, known as scribal jurists, and held significant judicial and political power. Dang. Look at this. Their primary role was to interpret and apply the Mosaic law, making them the leading legal authorities of their day. This made them officers of the highest court in the land, the Sanhedrin, which was supreme judicial body of ancient Israel. So that's like the Supreme Court here in the United States. See? The Sanhedrin was composed of 71 members, including the high priest, Sadducees, Pharisees, and a significant number of these scribes. The scribes' role within the Sanhedrin gave them direct involvement in the legal proceedings and judgments of the nation. They were essentially the legal scholars and judges who presided over cases, including those concerning religious and capital offenses. This position placed them in direct opposition to Jesus, as they perceived his teachings as a threat, look at it, to their authority and their interpretation of the Torah. There it is. They were not merely passive observers. They were active participants in the legal and religious system that ultimately tried and condemned Yahshua, Jesus. The power was derived from both their knowledge of the Torah and their official position within the Sanhedrin, making them formidable and influential enemies of the Messiah. Jeremiah 8:8. Jeremiah 8:8. How do you say, KJV, how do you say we are wise in the Torah of the Lord, or the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain. But you may not, understand that. I know I ain't understand it for a while until I slowed down and started looking the words up. Jeremiah 8:8. Jeremiah 8:8. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Lord is with us? But behold, the lying pen of the scribes have made it into a lie. Jeremiah 8:8 ESV. See, so you have scribes who actually write out the Torah. But according to the prophet Jeremiah, the Torah is compromised because the ones who scribing it out have inserted lies into it. See that now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. We used to be like, well, that's he's saying he made the law in vain because it was how the people was acting. No. You skipping right over the fact that scribes are the ones who write the Torah out. So if they are the ones who are writing or copying Torah out, and Jeremiah is speaking, and he's saying, how can you say that we even have the Torah that was given by the Almighty? How, when the lying pen of the scribes, the ones who write Torah out, has made it, Torah, into a lie? Genesis, Exodus, we just read from a Waspi's point of view, like even how Ezra got the records to even copy out. You see what I'm saying? So we got it over there in Waspi, but we come right here in Jeremiah, in Bible, and Jeremiah is saying that the Torah is compromised, and his day Torah is compromised. All right, so you dealing with what, 600 BCE was already compromised at that point. And he's asking a question, how are you going to boast about being wise and you got to talk the Tawara of Yahweh, or the Torah of Yahweh? How are you saying that? When you have scribes who have lying pens who have injected lies into the very Torah you claim you live by. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to go back to the drawing board and now start navigating through, you know what I mean, everything you thought to be true. And there's nuggets of truth everywhere. It's in there. You dig? But you're not supposed to believe everything that's written down. Why, Malaki? Because according to Jeremiah, the lying pen of the scribes have turned it into a lie, meaning there are lies mixed with the truth in your Bible. And that ain't me making it up. That's what it's saying. All right, let's get back into it. This is right out the Blue Letter Bible. In the Bible, a scribe is a man learned in the Mosaic law and in the sacred writings, an interpreter, teacher. Scribes examine the more difficult and subtle questions of the Torah. Added to the Mosaic law. Add this right in your Bible dictionary. What the hell are you mad at me about? Right in your Bible dictionary is telling you scribes are adding to the Mosaic law. Look, I thought it said you ain't supposed to add to nor take from. I thought that's what it said. You ain't supposed to add to the Torah and you ain't supposed to, you know what I mean, take from it. But you got scribes. That's what they doing. We're not making this stuff up, man. Yeah, that's the brother. That's the brothers that speak that pig Latin Hebrew. They call it the Lashawan Hwadash. It's pig Latin, right? In the Bible, a scribe is a man learned in the Mosaic law and in the sacred writings, an interpreter, teacher. Scribes examine the more difficult and subtle questions of the Torah, the law, added to the Mosaic law. Added to the Mosaic law decisions of various kinds, thought to elucidate its meaning and scope, and did this to the detriment of religion. Look at that. These niggas adding on to so look, if the Torah was compromised in Jeremiah's time and during the Messiah's time, what the hell make you think you got something so holy and precious now? What make you think you got something that don't got lies in it? And you just believe in it. Like you're not even questioning none of it. But see, it's crazy because you can't hide from yourself. Deep down in the back of your mind, you just shelve. This is what you do. This is what we get real good at. Things that bother us in our mind, we'll just shelf it in the back of our mind. So we'll put it up on the shelf. I'll get to it later. Instead of just dealing with it head on, we have a problem with shelving things that bother us, right? But putting it on the shelf, it don't go nowhere. You always gonna have some type of questions about certain things that's written down. But you don't want to be loud and voice your opinion of what what's bothering you because you don't want to be looked down on, like okay, outcast. You done lost the light, niggas talking about you, whatever. You got to understand these things, man. Look, you're dealing with a body politic that has been touched, translated, transliterated by multiple authors, multiple scribes from different perspectives under different authorities over time. Of course, there's going to be things written in it that contradict or that go against the character and behavior, the spirit of who we call the creator, of course. Of course. And then if you really think about it, the Bible is a library. It's not a book. It's a collection of books with multiple authors. So right there, it ain't gonna all agree. You got over 40 different authors supposedly that took part in writing Bible, that lived in different time periods, that had different perspectives and was up under different authorities. So the Bible ain't a book that's supposed to agree from cover to cover. No, it's a library with multiple authors of it. It's a collection of books. And you see what these guys are doing back then. They're adding to the Mosaic law decisions of various kinds, thought to elucidate its meaning and scope. And they did this. They did what? Add to the Mosaic law, the Torah. And they did this to the detriment of religion. See? Look at this. Since the advice of men skilled in the Torah was needed in the examination of the causes and the solution of the difficult questions, they were enrolled. These niggas were enrolled in the Sanhedrin. That's the Supreme Court in the land of Israel. It's the highest court. So not only do they hold sway over your spirit and then authority over your flesh, you dig? These cats are the top officers in the Supreme Court. Some of them sit as judges. Look at this. They were enrolled in the Sanhedrin and are mentioned in connection with the priests and elders of the people. See a Bible dictionary for more information on the scribes. Really? Okay. Scribes in the New Bible Dictionary. The New Bible Dictionary describes scribes, tongue twister, as a class of scholars who not only copied the Old Testament scriptures, but also interpreted and taught Jewish law. They were considered experts in the Torah and played a crucial role in the religious and social life of the nation. Quote from the New Bible Dictionary: the scribes were a class of professional men learned in Jewish law. Their function was to preserve and to interpret the traditions which had grown up around the law. Thus, they were teachers of the law, but their activity was not confined to teaching. The scribes were the recognized experts in legal matters. and their counsel was sought on questions of divorce, property, and religious observances. Many of them were members of the Sanhedrin, and as such, they had a voice in all the judicial decisions of that body. This quote highlights the dual nature of the scribes' role. They were scholars and teachers of the Torah, and also legal experts and judges who served on the Sanhedrin. This position gave them significant authority and made them a powerful force in first century Judaism, often putting them in conflict with the Messiah. Oh, wait. Let's get into this. What is this right here? Malaki, Flavius Josephus. The works of Flavius Josephus. That's the coin right there on the front. Y'all don't know this says Judea captive. You know what I mean? And that's a Roman soldier pissing on a Judean sister under a damn tree. It's a coin that commemorates the fall of Jerusalem. It's actually historical. It's crazy. But look, we're going to go right here. The Jewish War, Book 2, Chapter 8, Section 2. Right out of your boy, your beloved Josephus, who was a sellout. Look, for there are three philosophical sects among the Jews. The followers of the first of which are the Pharisees. The second, the Sadducees. And the third sect, which pretends to a severer discipline, are called Essenes. These last, or these scenes, are Judeans by birth. So what that make the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes and them? The Israelite historian, or the Jewish historian, if you want to call this guy Flavius Josephus, part of the Flavian dynasty. But he even admits, out of the three philosophical sects, it's the Essenes that are Judeans. They are the real ones by birth. So that means the other ones pump faking. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, and whoever the hell else that's out there. You understand? But the three main philosophical sects in first century Palestine that they were Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Essenes. And according to Flavius Josephus, the Essenes are, out of those three, are Judeans, the real Israelites by birth. Look what else he say. And seem to have a greater affection for one another than the other sects have. Yeah, that's that brotherly love. Y'all write that down. The Jewish War, Book 2, Chapter 8, Section 2. And you'll read it and see. He tell you that out of the three major philosophical sects, only the Essenes are the Judeans by birth. That means everybody else pump faking. Now, who the world called Jesus? What was Yahshua? Was he an Essene / Nazarene, or what's really going on here? Because this thing get even deeper if he come from the main philosophical sect that Joseph is saying the only real Israelites in there anyway are the Essenes. Is it possible that who we calling Yahshua, the Messiah, come from having a Essene background, come from the Essene or the Nazarene community? Is that possible? And that adds even more to him having a problem with these scribes. Because that would mean the scribes, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees are not Judeans by birth. But the Essenes are. Let's keep scrolling. Messiah the Essene. Gospel of the Nazarenes. There go the source. I heard they selling this for over $1,000 online now. I say, wow. If you feel like spending $1,000, you can cash at me right now, and I will mail this deal to you next day. Ain't no way in the world you telling me this book right here is over $1,000 now. Somebody sold one for three bands like last year. The Gospel of the Nazarenes, Dang. And I'm saying I got this for you. If you feeling like just spending $3,500 with your brother, I sure will mail it to you the next day. I got you. This is page 15. Gospel of the Nazarenes, the manifestation of Jesus to the Magi. We going down to it's page 15, I believe, chapter 5, verse 21. And the Lord said, look at this, out of Egypt have I called my son, who should be called the Nazarene. And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Israel. And they came and dwelt in a place called Nazareth, where dwelt Nazarites and Essenes. And he was called the Nazarene. So according to the Gospel of the Holy 12 or the Gospel of the Nazarenes. Yahshua was in the scene. He was a Nazarene, which is just a branch of the Essenes. See that? Nazareth, in Nazareth dwelt Nazarites and Essenes. You put the Nazir and the Essene together, you get Nazarene. Oh, wait, look at this. So how real this get. It also came to pass that in the second year of Jesus or Yeshua's life, a second son was born to Joseph and Mary. His name was called James. Shout out to James the Just, man. Meaning one who is just and righteous before the Lord, one who is of true Israel. See, the Essenes are the only true Israel. It's the Essenes. See, and now James, the little brother of Yahshua, was born, right? As with Jesus and John, so as with Yahshua and Yehukanan, as with Yahshua and John, James, was consecrated unto the Lord, a Nazarite from his mama's womb, according to the way. So Yahshua, John the Baptist, James the Just, they whole family. When you read this Gospel of Nazarene, Mary, Joseph, all them rock this way. They all have an Essene background. That's where they come from. You know what I mean? Now look at the rest of the family. In later years, they would have 3 more sons: Judah, Justice, and Simeon, and also daughters, Asia and Lydia. So it was 7 children total. See that? So we got Messiah with an Essene background. We got Josephus in history saying the only real true Israel are the Essenes. Right? Oh, okay. Okay, well, there's some more sources by his family. Galatians 1:19. James, the brother of the Lord. Mark 16:1, his brothers and sisters. Mark 6:3. You got Matthew 13 too, 53 through 55. Messiah's brothers and sisters, he was the oldest. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into this Owaspi, because Owaspi talking about the birth of Yahshua. Yahshua. And let's see if it line up with him being an Essene. Remember, Josephus say the Essenes are the only real ones, right? So I'm painting, I'm building a path for y'all to walk down, because this very man, the Essene, the who is the true Israel, he got a major league problem with the Torah that Scribes and written up. He got a major league problem. He's speaking against everything they done wrote down, and they are right there. You dig? And he told the crowd, unless you more holy than these niggas, y'all not getting into the kingdom. Shouldn't be that hard. These niggas was wicked as all hell. Unless your righteousness, what it say, go past the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. These niggas was evil. They was evil. They was some evil dudes, man. You dig? So that's not a high standard. You know what I mean? Look at this. God's Book of Esther, OSP, chapter 42, birth of Yahshua. God, Jehovah's son. Oof, that hit hard. God, Jehovah's son, was wise above all these trials, for he had the light of the Creator's kingdoms with him. And it shall be shown presently how much farther ahead the plans laid out by the Creator's sons are, compared to those plotted by his enemies. By his enemies. Look at this. This deal hit hard. Look what it say. Because Pharaoh persecuted the Israelites, Moses put a curse on Pharaoh. Then after hundreds of years in the lower heavens, behold, Pharaoh was cast into hell, and then into chaos. And no one but Moses could deliver him, as had been previously described. So Moses descended from the higher heavens and delivered Pharaoh, and he provided Pharaoh a new name, Elias, and sent him back to earth to labor with the Israelites in order to fulfill his shortness and righteous works. Elias therefore became a willing volunteer, and many angels with him. And these angels inspired 700 Israelites to separate themselves from all other people and to go and live by the direction of the angels of the Creator. Moreover, the angels inspired these people to call themselves who? Essenes. That's an OWASP. And it's telling you where the inspiration came from. And the angels who actually inspired them was Pharaoh and them who persecuted their forefathers in Egypt. Them niggas had to die, get delivered out of hell, and correct their behavior and clean up their mess. You persecute these people, so guess what? Now you got to labor to protect and raise up their descendants. That was his judgment. Like, nigga, you want a chance to do right? You want a chance at repentance for what you did? Hell, you know, already been in hell, then in a hell not for so many 100 years. He like, I got a new name. Whatever I got to do to get about this situation, I'm with it. Right? They were inspired by angels of the Creator, who in mortal life were enemies to the Creator, right? They were inspired by these angels, you dig, to call themselves Essenes and to live separate. Moreover, the angels inspired these people to call themselves Essenes, as commanded by who? Moses in heaven. Moses is the one who named you niggas, man. Ain't that crazy? Now, what is an Essene? An Essene, that is followers of the Spirit, in contradistinction to those who follow the dictates of the flesh. Today we know them as Essenes. These Essenes were therefore a separate people, pledged to Creator. Remember, the Essenes are the only true Israelites. According to Josephus, that's wild, man. These Essenes were therefore a separate people, pledged to the Creator, to have no king or earthly ruler except their rabbis. And they dwelt in communities and families of 10s, 20s, and 100s, holding all things in common. That's why you see at the end of Acts chapter 2, Acts chapter 4, you know what I mean? Everybody that was rocking with the Messianic movement started moving together amongst each other, and everything each one had, they held in common. It's called communal living today and all that. That's how they live, because I'm gonna hit you with something. That's how the angels live in the heavens. The angels of the Creator, heaven is not an isolated endeavor. Like it's affiliated. They mob deep. They mob deep. You know what I mean? They dwell in communities like that. So we were commanded by in this Messianic movement to live like the angels live in the heavens. And we got that from the angels who were around our camps, inspiring us day and night. You see? So look at what it says. It's saying they dwelt in communities and families of 10s, 20s, and 100s, holding all things in common. But in marriage, they were monogammatic, nor would they have more than one suit of clothes each. And they lived, look at this, and they lived on fruit and herbs, vegetables only, nor did they eat fish or flesh of anything that had ever breathed the breath of life. Dang. And we already connected Messiah and his family, his brothers, his sisters, his mama, his father, everybody. This is how they rock. And remember, this is about the birth of Yahshua. You see? Because this is the community he was birthed into. He comes out of the Essene community. We already read why he's called the Nazarene. It's a combination of Nazarite and Essenes. This is how they lived. And notice how they ate. Even down to their marriage. They only had one spouse. Even down to their clothes. One suit of clothes each. They lived a real simple, basic life. They wasn't with, the orthodox, Israelite way of doing things, because the orthodox was under a total different inspiration. Remember, the Essenes are the only real ones, and they're inspired by the angels of the Creator to live this way. So that means what's going on in Jerusalem, what's going on amongst everybody else that ain't them, that's a total different inspiration. That's not the Creator. That's something totally different. You see? But notice that they lived on fruit and herbs or vegetables only, nor did they eat fish or flesh of anything that had ever breathed the breath of life. They bathed every morning at sunrise and worshiped before the altar of the Creator, doing in all things in the manner of the ancient faithists. What is a faithist? That's what we are. You got an unwavering and unflinching faith and conviction in who we call the Creator. Can't convince me otherwise. By virtue of the angel hosts who were with them, they did these things, and they held communion with the angels of heaven every night before going to sleep. Yeah, these brothers and sisters were highly spiritual, connected to, was cold with the herbs. You know what I mean? Knew all the healing, and man, bro, they was cold. And notice again, I'm gonna keep saying it. Josephus saying that out of the Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Essenes are the only real Israelite, or the only real Judean. They the ones by birth that's born into. So now we're reading about the birth of Yahshua, the Nazarene, or the Essene. So that means he was a real one. And those he was getting into it with, those who were in charge of copying Torah, they weren't the real ones. And he was airing them out about the lies they had put in Torah. And because of the people believed the lies, and the people had to go to the scribes and them to get a teaching, to get an edification, to get an interpretation. You dig? They had massive influence over the whole nation. You dig? And they got the influence over the nation through the lies they interpret into what you call the Torah. Good night, boy. Look at this. Elias has said, because I persecuted the faithists and raised up my hands against them and against the Creator, I was instrumental in part for their fall. Now I would labor with them to reestablish them in purity and love. And so he labored. And Elias and his angel host made the camps of the Essenes their dwelling places, watching over these few Israelites day and night for hundreds of years. Yes, without leaving them, these faithful angels guarded them from all the warring hosts of angels belonging to the armies of Baal and Ashtaroth, and to the triune God, the Trinity, Luamon, that's the false Christ right there, y'all, and his host. So not only are the angelic hosts around the Essene encampment inspiring them, you know what I mean, in all righteousness, they're also protecting them from the false gods that's out there that has massive sway and influence over the rest of the Israelites that's, you know what I mean, not rocking like them, or the rest of the nation is not rocking like them. You see? Look at this. And though the Essenes lived in great purity of body and soul, yet they were evilly slandered by the world's people all around them. Yeah, like us. You know what I mean? But you might as well have squirted a water pistol on an elephant if you thinking we give less than a damn about what you say or think, or you mad because we bring out these truths in this higher life. We don't care nothing about that. We care nothing about that. Your feelings are not a factor when it comes down to exposing any type of false god or bringing some light to a dark situation. Your feelings don't factor in with us. You care nothing about your feelings. You see that? Look at this. So we done made the connection. The Messiah is a Nazarene or an Essene. That's what he was. And his whole family got down like that, from John the Baptist and all that. The Essenes basically is the community that produced the Dead Sea Scroll, the Qumran community. You know what I mean? That's basically what you got Israelites living out in the wilderness. Basically, that's what that is. Look at this. But the Creator prospered the seed of the Essenes in holiness and love for many generations. Then came Gaphania, chief of the Louis. Louis is a rank, title and rank of an angel that's in charge of inspiring your great-grandfather to holler at your great-grandmama and, you know, look on down the line and Juanito is born. Okay, so then Gang Cafania, chief of the Louis, according to the command of God, to raise up an heir to the voice of Creator. See, so there's a reason why, you know, in this day and time, you hear certain messages and certain lights and all that. You got spiritual geneticists or angels, matchmaking angels, that inspired your people to come together generations ago. So in this generation, you will be born. So you could hear the voice of Creator. Like, oh, you know what, bro, that makes sense. You see that? So to raise up an heir to the voice of Creator, and in 4 more generations, which would be a little bit over 130 some years, something like that. In 4 more generations, like 132 years, an heir was born and named Joshua or Yahshua. And he was the child of Joseph and his wife Marah, devout worshipers of Creator, who stood aloof from all other people, who stayed apart from all other people except who? The Essenes. Good night. Good night. Good night. Look, the time of the birth of the child was 3 days after the descent of a heavenly ship from the throne of God. The star of Bethlehem. Huh? The star of Bethlehem. And many of the Essenes looked up and saw the star. And they felt the cold wind of the higher heavens fall upon the place and around the tent where the child will be born. And they said to one another, Creator, remember us. Finally, the chief angel of the Louis knew beforehand what the birth would be. And he sent out around the Essene encampments extra guardian angels. And these notified the descending hosts of heaven of what was near at hand. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so we see what the scribes are. All right, we see that Messiah, who we call Yahshua, is directly connected to the Nazarite and Essene community, directly. And that they live a very strict, disciplined life. Right, even when it comes down to the food, when it comes down to, you know, what you throwing down your throat, they weren't eating, you know, the flesh pots. That ain't what they was doing. They weren't eating fish. They weren't eating no flesh of anything that had ever breathed the breath of life. You see that? Check the chat real quick. How y'all looking? Bang, bang, bang. Oh, if y'all getting some understanding so far, man, y'all dropping 7,000 in the chat, man. Creative gang still cooking, baby. So now we're gonna get into examine some of these teachings. You know what I mean? Examine some of these teachings that are in direct conflict with what the scribes had written down. That's what we're gonna do. All right, get into it. Okay, I see y'all in the chat, man. Everybody being 7,000. Let's get into it. And y'all write in your Bible, man. It ain't, you know. You got people foaming at the mouth. You dig? You got people ready to, you know, throw hissy fits and do all type of madness, man. You dig? You know what? Let me share this real quick too before we let me share this real quick. Shout out to my brother, the Minister of Wellness, Brother Nathaniel Jordan. The brother is very, very serious about service being done and righteous works and service being done for the poor. And then shout out to this brother right here, man. Brother St. Louis native 31 Flow. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, go over to his channel, the Minister of Wellness, and also support this brother, man. He's feeding thousands of orphans and fighting on the front line in third world poverty. He's feeding thousands of orphans a month. He's giving away thousands of sanitary organic pads for the young ladies in their monthlies. building orphanages, and you did like the brothers really like dead set at bringing this message worldwide. So I salute this brother, man. I actually talked on the phone with him for a good, well over 2 hours last weekend, and you dig? I salute what he doing. Check this out.
Sisters, at this time, before I close, like to give to our children for the food drive and help us get out of the red, please. I'm pleading with you. We're in the red. We're in a state of a financial emergency. If you've made it all the way to this point, will you help? Will you help? Will you rise above your selfishness? Are you ready to walk the path of true salvation? A life of service, a life of giving? We need you. Our children need you. We are grossly behind. Our food drive is next Sabbath day. We're grossly behind. I need your help. I need all of you all to come on board and do the very best you can to make sure that by Monday we have enough funds to start purchasing the food to feed 10,000 children. Will you help me on this blessed Sabbath to rise to spiritual perfection and sow your seed of $100 or more for our May 2nd organic food drive? Listen, becoming a giver, rising above.
And to be honest with you, like he has the only plant-based food drive in the world. Where if it ain't the only, they far and few in between. You know what I mean? So it ain't like he selling poison to the short leggers. He actually feeding them alkaline foods. You see that? That ain't nothing to sneeze at. So, you know, y'all get a chance to support this brother, man. All his information is scrolling at the bottom of the, and all of it helping. You know, $1 go a long way over there in the third world countries. So you send $50, that'd be like sending $5,000 or something. It's like, you feel me? Serious talk. So, you know what I mean? That's something that's something to be saluted. And that should inspire those of us who are able to do something like this, you dig, to get off our behinds and get to work. You dig, get to work. Especially if you're somebody that sleep on ostrich feather pillows and, you know, enjoy the finest amenities in life. You understand? But you got people that's living in third world poverty. Third world poverty. Right, so shout out to Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness. Salute out. You know what I mean? I look forward to more conversations. Let's keep
your selfishness and hoarding spirit. It is the most difficult yet important component of true salvation, according to the teachings of Jesus Christ the Nazarene. Just read Matthew 19:6.
Oh, Jesus Christ the Nazarene. Huh? Jesus Christ the Nazarene. We just made that connection, didn't we? Then we just made that connection. Wait.
16 through 26. The man walked away sad, thinking he had done enough, until Jesus challenged him to give his all to those in need. Many of you are failing in this part. I know it's not easy. It's not easy for me either. But that's why the rewards for trusting in the God of life and health is so immense. When you test out his faithful promises by becoming a servant of the poor, especially innocent orphans and children, the spiritual healings and blessings and peace and joy are powerful. And that's why every single first Sabbath day of every month, no matter how stressful, I must find a way to feed the hungry children. And listen, there's no excuses. Our food drives, we focus on orphans and children living in abject, horrific third world poverty. This is the healthiest meal they will receive all month. Some of them are close to fainting. We've had some of them faint during our food drives before they were served the food because they hadn't eaten a decent meal in so long. We have become a lifeline for them, family. And I tell you, I feel the power of the Creator moving in my life every time I feed these poor children. And I want you to feel that same power. Arm your immune system with the protection of the God of life and health by sowing a seed of life, love, and hope into the starving bellies of these innocent children. $10,000 feeds over 10,000 hungry children. That's less than $1 per child. If you're ready to take your blessings to the next level, please step forward with your $1,000 seed of love sponsorship for our May 2nd food drive.
Bro, out there getting it, man. Salute. Salute. Big. That's what that work look like. Then once we get them up in the orphanage, we gotta go ahead and start showing these little jokers skills. So you don't want to produce a whole bunch of orphans that end up becoming dependent on God. You see? So once you feed them and get them the roof over their head and clothes on their back, now it's time to teach them how to be industrious. They got to learn skills. That way, in these skills, they can use to where they don't have to be a leech or have to be dependent. You see what I'm saying? You raise them up. You dig? And teach them a skill that they can use for the rest of their lives. No matter where they land on this earth, you understand they good. Whether it's building houses or, being a doctor or getting code with the computers or whatever it may be. But you know what I mean? The children that we rescue up out of these dark and terrible situations, we have to in turn not only feed them, clothe them, and house them, we have to teach them a skill. You dig? And you know what I mean, how to properly hear the voice of the Creator. All that's supposed to be taught. You see what I'm saying? Let's get into some of these teachings. Yeah. I feel you, Dread. You're right. Bang, bang, bang. That'd be good. Okay, here, let's get into some of this. All right, so messianic teachings that are in conflict with the scribal authorities. Matthew 5:20, what did it say? For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right, conflict number one, eye for an eye, the law of retaliation. The law of retaliation. And if a man calls a blemish in Leviticus 24:19-20, and if a man calls a blemish in his neighbor, as he hath done, so shall it be done to him. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. Deuteronomy 19:19-21. Then you shall do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shall you put the evil away from among you. And those which remain shall hurt and fur, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. The understanding is clear. Let's look at the messianic teaching about eye for an eye. Does it agree or does it conflict? You have heard that it was said an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So it ain't just being said. We just read it. It's written down. But written down by whom? Who are the ones? Who are the body politic, basically, that's writing out what we just read in Leviticus and in Deuteronomy? What are their names? They're the scribes. Now, remember, he said your righteousness got to get past theirs, and you ain't got no hope in getting into the kingdom of heaven. So the standard ain't even high. Because these men were writing things into what you call Torah. You dig? And influencing the people to go left in a major league way. You dig? So now you got this revolutionary Messiah having a problem, you know what I mean? Or being hostile toward that precept that's written down. You see? He's not in agreement with what the scribes had wrote out. That's the point. He ain't in agreement at all. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, I say to you, but I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone force you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. Luke 6:29-31. To one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from one who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who begs from you, and from one who takes away your goods, do not demand them back. As you wish that others would do to you, do so to them. Chapter 44, God's book of Esther, OSB, doctrines of Joshua and his death. God said, these are my doctrines as I taught through Joshua. Joshua was of Israelitish birth and also an Esau. And Esau is someone who doesn't have any earthly desires or passions, basically neutral. You know what I mean? Born near Jerusalem around 2,000 years before the Cosmine era. His predecessors were of the tribe called who? Essenes, or non-resistance. See, the Essenes don't go to war. Nazarenes and Essenes don't spill blood, whether that's in warfare or for food. Now remember, they the only Israelites. So who taught you to spill blood? Who taught you to go to war and pillage and village? Who wrote that down? Look at this. His predecessors were the tribe called Essenes, or non-resistance. He labored to restore the true Mosaical teachings. You see this? True Mosaical teachings. I mean, everything that you're reading supposedly that come from Moses is not true. It's not true. Ultimately, he was stoned to death in Jerusalem. This is from Owaspi's perspective, not nailed to a cross or hung from a tree. Stoned, actually. He also taught the doctrine of one great spirit only, one creator. In the Christian New Testament, it has been supposed that the so-called Sermon on the Mount is a plagiarism on Joshua's teachings, adapted by the Ecumenical Council under the direction of the Emperor Constantine. All right, so this is what Joshua was teaching, or Yahshua, Messiah, right? You should love your neighbor as yourself, and do not, read it again. You should love your neighbor as yourself, and do to your fellow man as you would have him do to you. You shall return good for evil, and pity to those who sin. It has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I say return good for evil. So you battle evil with good. And if a man hits you on one cheek, turn the other to him also. As anyone can see, the messianic teachings of non-resistance and peace are polar opposites of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and life for life. As you can see, fighting fire with fire produces more fire. The non-resistant peace policy is the water to put the fire out. Turn the other cheek equal peace. Eye for an eye equal war. Hidden jewel for the family. You've heard the term non-resistance, but never have been told the reason for it. Take notes. Book of Judgment, OSB, chapter 32. God judges against war. I'm gonna read verse 1-3 and then jump down and get right to the warfare. Because remember, eye for an eye equal war. All right, watch this. God said, now behold, O man, I have declared my first and second resurrections to you, and in like manner is the third resurrection. Still higher, and so on are all the heavens of Jehovah, higher and higher, until the inhabitants of them become very lords and gods. Nevertheless, hear, O man, the wisdom of your God, and be appreciative of the way of resurrection being opened up to you. Now I declare to you, there are angels, Lord, in the first resurrection, right here on earth, y'all. Being incapacitated by various causes from knowing who they are, where they came from, or where they are going. Indeed, many of them do not know words of speech, nor signs, nor tokens, but are as destitute of knowledge as young babes. Let's get down here to what we call it. Right here. Verse 9. Now, other than these angels, there are those who are slain in war. Eye for an eye, right? Whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear and anger, become wild and bound on battlefields, or perhaps stroll away into deserted houses and castles, and are lost, bewildered, and unapproachable. You see what happens to the spirits of the dead who are slain in warfare? You sure an eye for an eye is a righteous way to handle? You know what I mean? Is a righteous way to put out a fire by adding more fire? You sure about that? Eye for an eye, what does it produce? But a whole bunch of blind folk. Foot for foot, what does it produce? You better get on your good foot, Johnny. Hand for hand, what does it produce? Nah, man, look, you know a tree by its fruit, what it produces. What has that law or that precept scribbled or scribed in Torah by these evil ass scribes? What fruit has this produced but a whole bunch of gimps? A whole bunch of paralyzed gimps, handicapped gimps. That's it. That's it. Ain't no righteous fruit that been yielded or have grown from eye for an eye, foot for foot, hand for hand, life for life. What happens to the spirits of those who are slain in war, whose blood have been spilled? You don't know. You don't care. You just removed them off the board, huh? Just killed them. You see? There's a such thing as spirit retaliation. You dig? You better think 1,000,000 times before you go kill somebody. You don't want that bondage. Look at this. Of these, there are hundreds of millions. These wandering spirits, hundreds of millions. And they are in all countries and among all peoples in the world. These wandering spirits who are wild and bound on battlefields. Who are lost, bewildered, and unapproachable. It's hundreds of millions of these, of them. All the byproduct of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, life for life. Warfare. This is what war produces. War doesn't produce righteous fruit. War produces hundreds of millions of bewildered, unapproachable, chaotic spirits bound to the earth. Really. Look at this. They are distracted and tormented with their own fears and bewilderment. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples in the world who engage in war. Israel, USA, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, whatever the hell you're talking about. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples in the world who engage in war, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. Wow. So you run around here doing all this killing, and you're not realizing you're birthing chaotic spirits into the spirit world. Like a whole bunch of premature babies being birthed at one time. This is heavy affliction on the angels who have been tasked and charged with receiving your spirit once you die, once you cross over. But no. You rather go to war and bring the affliction on who you call the ancestors. Because if you're an angel and your job is to receive the spirits of the dead when they cross over, you dig? But it's hundreds of millions who have been slain in war. So at the moment of death, these spirits are chaotic, bewildered, tormented. Judgment is rendered against every nation and all people in the world who carry on war or who are accessory to war, in which any man created alive by the Creator is slain in defense of any king or other ruler or in defense of any country or government in the world. And whether any war is offensive or defensive, my judgment is against its aiders and abettors, those who assist and profit from it. And against the kings and queens or other rulers who are parties to war, willingly, knowingly, or otherwise. And I judge him guilty also who is general, commodore, captain, sergeant, or private that engages in war, takes part in it, aiding, abetting, or otherwise, in which any man created alive by the Creator is slain or caused to suffer death. Look at this. This ain't nothing to play with, boy. What are the spirits? You never ask yourself, what are the conditions of the spirits of the dead once they cross over? This is a lot of blood that's being shed, man. And you add this up, the war, you add all this up with all the blood being spilled in these streets and internationally, along with all the animal deaths. Y'all look, it's a wonder why this earth is bloody. It's a wonder why, the red star, the earth. Yeah, it's flooded with blood. And yet, aside from angels who are in chaos, there are hundreds of millions who are in declension. Instead of resurrection, such angels are those who in mortal life were whipped and tortured in prisons, or perhaps were hanged or otherwise put to death. These angels take delight in evil instead of good. Sometimes they go about singly, and sometimes in gangs of hundreds and even thousands. In the past, the false gods used such angels, these angels who are in declension, to do what? To fulfill curses on mortals and to carry poison in the air and inoculate mortals with foul diseases. So it's not the Creator that's putting curses on you, Israel. Stop talking about you're cursed by the Most High. Unless your Most High is the most low. How about that? Because it's the false gods who use angels who are below the grade, dark demonic forces, to fulfill curses on mortals. The Creator doesn't curse y'all. No, the diseases and things you go through is a result of your own labor. That's what that cursed. And that's the crazy part, but not by Creator that is. It's a false god that decided to go to war with another false god, and you were the prize. Baal and Ashtaroth was war, and Ashtaroth, this swivel hip goddess, is the one that said she was going to scatter you in the corners. Yeah, the Creator don't curse. That's not the Most High. That's not the Creator cursing you in Deuteronomy 28. You know what I mean? Creator don't curse. Look at this. Read it again. Judgment 32 and 18. In the past, the false gods used. Let me go back here. Let's go back to 17. 16. Let's get some understanding. So you never twist your mouth again and say that the Almighty cursed you. Or put it, we're under a curse. We the last hire and first fire. You know how long Nick Rose been saying that? Like that's played out. That shows you it ain't been no upgrades to the doctrine. You still repeating the same slogans that expired 30 years ago. Now, to convince somebody they an Israelite, you got to read curses. You ain't reading blessings. You reading curses to prove you an Israelite. And then the poor innocent soul accepts it. He accepts he's under a curse by the God. And one day the God will reverse, the deity will reverse the curse. But the curse is horrific, brutal. How about we find out through a waspy that it was never the creator that cursed you, ever. Judgment 32:16. And yet aside from angels who were in chaos, the angels who are in chaos are those who were slain on the battlefield in war. And yet aside from angels who are in chaos, there are hundreds of millions who are in declension instead of resurrection. Such angels are those who in mortal life were whipped and tortured in prisons, or perhaps were hanged or otherwise put to death. These angels take delight in evil instead of good. So you ain't do nothing but birth a whole bunch of vindictive, diabolical spirits into the spirit world. And they take pleasure in doing evil. They was whipped, tortured in mortal life, hanged. Oh yeah, you got somebody hell bent on revenge. Hell bent on revenge. These angels take delight in evil instead of good. Sometimes they go about singly, and sometimes in gangs of hundreds and even thousands. In the past, the false gods use such angels to fulfill curses on mortals and to carry poison in the air and inoculate mortals with foul diseases. Behold, in this day, my angels have shown you that they can bring flowers and ponderous bodies. Similarly, the false gods. See, we expose the deities over here. That's why everybody is afraid and frightened of CGG. Create a gang, baby. See, so just like the angels of the creator can do what you can do what you deem to be a miracle, so can the false gods and their angels. Similarly, the false gods with their trained warrior angels who delighted in evil, could cast mortals in death by poisons and suffocations. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples who use prisons as places for whipping and torturing prisoners, and against all nations and peoples who put to death by hanging, shooting, or in any way whatsoever any prisoner or any person whom Jehovah created alive. Judgment is rendered against the judge and jury who condemn to death any man, and against the lawmakers who make or have left in force a law authorizing death as a penalty against any person Jehovah created alive, and against any sheriff or executioner who puts to death willingly or knowingly any person that the creator had created alive. And this is the bondage I put upon all those who do not obey my judgments and conform to them. They shall not rise above the first resurrection. You right here. When you die and cross over, you ain't rising up past your nostrils. You spilled all this blood on this earth and you think you just about to just resurrect and rise up and experience, the heavenly kingdoms of the creator. Yeah, I think not. Nah. Trick no good. They shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains upon the earth. You little brothers better think 1,000,000 times before you put that pistol on anybody in the streets. Yeah, you don't know. You don't even know the bondage is waiting on you, boy. That's a lot of blood that got to get cleaned up. They should not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains upon the earth. Even though their bondage is 100 years or 1,000 years, yet this my judgment against them shall not be put aside. You sure you want to keep going with this eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, foot for foot, hand for hand? What has it produced but a whole bunch of handicapped individuals? Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth is war, equals war. You got to bring violence to the next man. Turn the other cheek is peace. What is that? Or what is that? What is the fruit that peace produces? See? You ever want to know if something is virtuous or not? If you ever want to know if something is beneficial or not, just look at what the system produces. And if it produces more war, more blood, more flesh chewing, if it produces anything about being self-centered, selfish, that's not a good creator. You can easily judge that. And look, creator say he don't care if it take 1,000 years while war remains on the earth. You ain't rising up past your nostrils, boy. Neither shall any king, queen, or any other ruler in the entire world impress as a soldier any man who is unwilling to engage in war. And whoever does not obey this, my judgment shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains on the earth. Nor will I any more consider the prayers of any king, queen, or any other ruler, or any nation or people anywhere in the world who engage in war, offensive or defensive, or who aid or abet war in any way whatsoever. But I will abandon all such people, and my Lord shall abandon them, and my holy angels shall abandon them, and they shall be left as a prey to their own harvest of evil spirits and to all manner of demons, Drujas. And they shall be afflicted with assassinations, intriguers, and despoilers, and with anarchy, riots, and destruction. You see that going on now. For they shall be made to understand that whomever the Creator created alive is sacred upon the earth, and that whoever does not heed these, my judgment, sins against the Almighty. Oh, wait, look at this. Behold, it is not sufficient apology for them to say, oh, an evil king will come upon my country and possess it. I say to you, O man, all countries are Jehovah's. Be his servant for peace and righteousness, having faith in him. Behold, your God has come to put away old things and to give you the kingdoms of Jehovah as they are in his exalted heavens. Heed the judgments of your God. You cannot stop. You cannot stop the hand of the Almighty. Oh, wait. The whole reason for non-resistance or peace over eye for an eye or war is because war and early deaths brings afflictions on the angels who are charged with receiving the spirits of the dead. In essence, it's like a premature spiritual birth. Millions of them. Have you ever asked yourself what happens to the spirits of those slain in war or are aborted and died in infancy? Now you know. Oh, wait, if you're getting some understanding, family, y'all dropping 5,000 in the chat. You dig? Easy work. Let me grab his water. I'll be right back. CGG, we still cooking, baby. Who my track here? Right here is. Right here is. Oh wait, boy, that deal slap right there, boy. That deal slap. I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it always solid with y'all. Oh wait, what you good them up, boy? All right, let's get into this conflict number 2. So we understand why the Essenes were into peace and non-resistant, and then to turn the other cheek and all that, and not the whole eye for eye, foot for foot and all that, because that, for one, didn't produce, the only fruit that produced was a whole bunch of handicapped individuals. You dig? Peace wins. Peace is the water that puts the fire of war out. The message is weapons down. See what I'm saying? So that was the first one where he spoke. He said, "But I say unto you, do it this way. It's written down, or they say this is what this says. I say to you, do it like this." He was speaking with a whole nother authority, and this is what got him, you know what I mean, put on the scribes and them radar, because what he was teaching was opposite of what they wrote down. What they wrote down was opposite of what Yahshua was teaching. You feel me? Let's get into this law of oaths and vows. Dang, son. Dang, son. All right, let's get into it. All right, there we go right there. Conflict number 2, the law of oaths and vows. Numbers 30. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Oh, wait. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swore an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. Verse 10, and if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband have utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the bond of her soul, shall not stand. Her husband hath made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses, between a man and his wife, between father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. Matthew 5, 33 through 37. Is Yahshua teaching what we just read in Numbers 30? Is he teaching that? Let's see. You have also heard that our ancestors were told, you must not break your vows, and you must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. But I say to you, do not make any vows. Do not say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne, and do not say by the earth, because the earth is his footstool, and do not say by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say by my head, for you cannot turn one hair white or black. Just say simple, yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this Anything beyond a yes or no, which would be a vow or an oath. Anything beyond this is from the who? The evil one. Mm, 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 mm. 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 Mm, mm, mm. Mm. He just said, even though Numbers 30, these are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses. Between a man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul. Her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. Here comes Joshua bringing up Numbers 30, right? But then he gives his own judgment on it. What does he say? But I say to you, even though it's written down by the scribes in Numbers 30th chapter, I say to you, do not make any vows. So even though you got a command to or a will to make a vow, he say don't even make one. Do not say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. Do not even say by my head, for you cannot turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. Well, I thought the Lord commanded Moses this. It's the Lord. The Lord. Right? These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses. Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. He's in total opposition to that precept in Numbers the 30th chapter. He's in total opposition with eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. What he's saying to do is opposite of what the scribes wrote down and their interpretation of it. We ain't making this stuff up. Look, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, or the recognitions of cleansing. Teachings of Mashiach or Messiah. See this? Teachings of Mashiach. But to those who think, as the scriptures teach, that Elohim swears, and this is actually Peter repeating what the Messiah or Yahshua taught him. These are some lost teachings of Messiah, but as spoke through Peter to people he bringing into the faith. You see? Look at this. But to those who think, as the scriptures teach, that Elohim swears, he said, Yahshua said, let your yes be yes and no, no. For what is more than these is of the evil one. He said, the who? The tempter is the evil one, the devil. He's saying those vows that you taken came from the devil and not his father. If y'all understand that, drop a 4,000 in the chat. He's in total opposition to the scribal precepts that the scribes have written down. He's saying that it's written like that, but I say do it like this. He's speaking with a whole different authority. He's speaking with a whole different authority. Yeah, he ain't in agreement at all. You wonder why these men, you wonder why, look, the tempter is the evil one. You wonder why these men were so anxious to kill this man. It's because they held power over the people by the lies that they interjected in the Torah. You got to go to them to get an understanding of the Torah. You got to go to them to get the breakdowns of the Torah, right? And they're the ones copying Torah out, but they're interjecting lies into it. So here come Yahshua, this revolutionary radical, reformists. You did Essenes, Nazarene, Nazarite. And he's just pulling the blanket to cover back on all their nakedness. And that's what he's doing the whole way through. His teachings are in opposition to what's written down in Torah. His teachings are in opposition, not in alignment. Man, a lot of Israelites ain't going to hear that because you've been trained to believe that this Nazarene or Essene, this Yahshua, this Messiah, who you call Messiah, was in total agreement with the written Torah. And guess what? He wasn't. He wasn't. He did. The credit gang do. The credit gang is doing today what Yahshua was doing 2,000 years ago. You know what I mean? And that's what got people mad. That's what got people mad. Look at this, the law of divorce. Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4. Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4. Oh, my bad, y'all. Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it into her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is deported out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement, boy, she keep getting her walking papers, don't she? Dang. And giveth it into her hand and sendeth her out of his house. Or if the latter husband died, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. Good night, boy. Boy, good night. Look at this. After that, she is defiled, but that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. You're like, don't even, there ain't no going back. Favor. Outline of biblical usage. She fell out of favor with him, right? Fell out of favor, grace, or charm. Man. Favor, grace, or charm. Elegance, acceptance, Strong's definition. Cain. Graciousness, subjective, kindness, favor, or objective beauty, favor, pleasant, precious, uncleanness. Outline of biblical uses: nakedness, nudity, shame, pudinda, pudinda, pudinda implying shameful exposure, nakedness of a thing, indecency, improper behavior, exposed, undefended. Erva, nudity, literally, especially the pudinda. Dang. What is the pudenda? What the hell is going on? Or figurative, disgrace, blemish, nakedness, shame, uncleanness. Let's look at another translation. Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4. If a man marries a woman and she does not please him because he has found something offensive in her, then he may draw up a divorce document, give it to her, and evict her from his house. When she has left him, she may go and become someone else's wife. And if the second husband rejects her and then divorces her and gives her the papers and evicts her from his house, or if the second husband who married her dies, her first husband who divorced her is not permitted to remarry her after she has become ritually impure, for that is offensive to the Lord. You must not bring guilt on the land in which the Lord your God has given to you as an inheritance. This precept written by the scribes gives the man total authority to divorce his wife for whatever reason. Hashtag walking papers. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far, you know, a devotee's mind would go, sisters, but yeah, it could be something as small as you didn't fart downwind, or you know you you done burnt some eggs and some grits. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It just says whatever he find wrong with you, if he decide to give you your walking papers, you gotta go. You gotta go. Yeah, and look, it just depends on the man. Like I can't even get too specific with you. It just depends on what type of and forget if you married to some type of maniac. Oh my God. Woman, he better not smell morning breath on you. It's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? So you may be married to a maniac or a tyrant. Look what it say. If a man marries a woman and she does not please him, he want his egg sunny side up. Oh my God. And sisters, forget about the sex life. Boy, you get you one of them niggas that, boy, get you one of them boys that, boy, I'm talking about trying to control every app. Oh my God, it's game over. Woman, hey, boy, bathers! Boy, if he ain't getting the royal treatment, whenever he want his royal treatment, oh my God, you get your walking papers, sister. You get your walking papers. You can't be tired. Hey, they crack a woman. Hey, you mine. The hell going on? Dang. That's a rough one right there. That's a rough one for the sisters, boy. Sheesh. Boy, you better not, man, look, he better not suspect nothing that's going on, ever. Oh my God. And especially in this age of social media. Forget about it. Forget about it. It'd be too many men in the DMs. Your woman on social media like that, it's some Negroes in her DM. Yes. Yeah. Sending pictures of all types of ungodly behavior. Yes. You better believe it. So imagine now, it's easy to find uncleanness or fall out of favor. Think about back then. Look, woman, if the eggs was burnt, if he smelled morning breath on you, like for whatever, if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed and was like, I don't want you no more, there your walking papers, that enough. That's just what life was for thou. Dang. All right, well, look what it say. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and they come to pass and she find no favor in his eyes because he had found some uncleanness in her. Dang. Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it into her hand and send her out of his house. You got to go. Serious business. All right, now. What are the messianic teachings concerning the law or Torah of divorce? Do they agree or conflict? Matthew 19, 3-11. Look. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Why are they asking him this? Because that's what the context is in Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter. I know Nick always try to make it not that and play on definitions. Oh, it means nudity. So if she outside walking jack naked, I can. And she got the Erica Boo Boo going on, Erica Badu. Bruh. Men were divorcing women like it because that just was the end thing to do. You could do all types of crazy madness and manipulate what you call in the law or the Torah of Moses. There's all type of manipulation that was going on. So they're asking him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for any cause or every cause? Because that is the context in what Deuteronomy 24:1 is speaking of. If he don't find no favor, bye. You ain't pleasing him, bye. He won't his. Don't get you a man that like to run red lights and stop signs, sisters. Hey, I'm telling you. Matthew 19, 3 through 11, what it say? The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He says unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. He like, look, it's a trash precept. Good and well from the beginning, it was never that. You men are out of control. But from the beginning, it was not so. And I say to you, whoever, and I say unto you, even though the scribes have it written in there and they speaking about Moses, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. She playing Miss Mattress back over there, except for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. His disciples saying to him, trip off this. His disciples saying to him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. Dang. But he said unto them, all men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given. Dang. You see, so and that was the overall question. They was asking, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for any cause? And he like, nah, man. Except unless she don't went and became another man's woman. You know what I mean? Then yeah, go ahead. You dig? But nah, you can't just put her away because she burnt your eggs, Johnny. Nah. You can't you ain't nobody just leaving just because your own little petty little differences and all that. Nah, y'all gonna have to work that out. That's just what it is. You dig? Oh wait. The Messianic teachings is in conflict with the law of Torah divorce. It holds men and women accountable to each other. When it comes to biblical marriage, it's marriage, not bondage, okay? Conflict number 4, the law of bringing and buying sacrifices. Now, we all heard the story of Yahshua going into the temple and overthrowing the changers table and money and releasing the animals and making a bullwhip. Yeah, let's read about it. Were they in violation according to the Torah when Yahshua went to the temple on Passover, made a bullwhip, flipped over tables, released the animals? Were the people in the temple doing all these transactions and all that, were they in violation according to the written Torah? Because if they weren't in violation according to the written Torah, but yet Yahshua attacks them, then that's showing you what he was teaching is in direct conflict with what is written in the Torah. Direct conflict. Let's show it. The law bringing and buying sacrifices. Conflict number 4, Deuteronomy 14, 22 through 26. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of your seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And the place that he chose is Jerusalem, according to the biblical paradigm. And if the way be too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it, you can't bring it all the way to Jerusalem, or if the place be too far from you, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shall you turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, which will be the temple in Jerusalem, y'all. Meaning, all right, well, you know, all my crops and my cattle and everything I'm going to tithe, it's going to be too much to carry all this to Jerusalem. We got to cross a couple seas, and we got to do a lot of walking. So the Torah is saying, well, just turn what it is that you're going to go ahead and sacrifice and bring as an offering or a tithe, right? Turn that into money. Bring the money to the temple in Jerusalem, and there buy your sacrifices. You see? Were the people buying and selling in the temple for Passover? Were they in violation according to the written Torah? Then shall you turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand, and shall go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. That's the temple in Jerusalem. And you shall bestow that money, spend that money for whatsoever your soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever, whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, you and your household. Y'all see that? Excuse me. You see that? You turn the money, you turn what you was going to sacrifice into money. You bring the money to Jerusalem, and then you purchase your sacrifices. You purchase everything you need. You see that? Whatever your soul lusteth after. Trip off that. Look at this. This precept in Torah is clear. If the way to Jerusalem is too far for the devotee, he has the duty to turn his sacrifices into money. Travel to Jerusalem, buy living animals for the purpose of sacrificing them and chewing on them. Let's see what the messianic perspective is. Matthew 12:7. But if you had known what this means, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. You will have not condemned the guiltless or the innocent. Who are the innocent that's being condemned and sacrificed? But if you had known what this means, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. You would not have condemned the guiltless. You would have not condemned the innocent. Who are the innocent that are being condemned by sacrifice? Huh? Yeah, the animals. Right in your face. Right in your face the whole time. Right in your face the entire time. Don't forget, the Torah gives you permission to turn your sacrifices into money, bring that money to Jerusalem, and buy your animals and everything for the purpose of sacrificing. Right? Messiah say in Matthew 12:7, if you had known what this means, I would have mercy and not sacrifice. If you knew what that meant, you would have never condemned, you would never sacrifice one animal. You would not have condemned the guiltless or the innocent. Again, who are the innocent who are being condemned by the act of sacrifice? Yeah, the innocent animals. You want any loin meat today, Johnny? Did you chew on any loin meat today, Johnny? Huh? How about a tender or a wing? This is crazy. Now look at this. John 2:13 through 16. And the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Yeshua went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting. Look at that. Look at that. According to Deuteronomy, they can do that. According to Deuteronomy 14:22 through 26. You can do that. Yeah. According to what the scribes have written down, according to this Torah, they can do that. All right. You can bestow that money for whatsoever your soul lusteth after, for oxen or for sheep, or for wine or for strong drink, or for whatsoever your soul desireth. And you should eat there before the Lord your God. You shall rejoice, you and your household. And then you remember, y'all, this is the temple in Jerusalem. This is where the Lord God chose. So during the Passover, and found in the temple those that sold oxen, there go the oxen, and sheep, and doves, and the changers of money sitting. Why would the changers of money be sitting there? Because remember, you traveled from afar away. You brought money to buy sacrifices. You know what I mean? To sacrifice, to buy animals to sacrifice before your Lord, before your deity. Or like my brother say, Mr. What, your monster God. Man, that is so funny to me. Serious. And so, look, he found in the temple those who were within their full right according to the written Torah. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. They are perfectly within their right according to what's written down. Right? Look, and he found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple. This is a massive crowd. This ain't 2 or 3 people. This is a massive crowd, probably thousands in there. He drove them all out of the temple and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables, and said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, get them out of here. Make not my father's house a house of merchandise. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. Good night. Good night. And they were in their perfect right according to the written Torah, and he went in there and overturned everything, made a bullwhip, ran them out the temple, overthrew the tables, with the money on it, got the money all everywhere, coin and everything, just everywhere. And he attacked the bank. He attacked the bank. He attacked the temple, which was the one which also functioned as a bank, not just a slaughterhouse. That was a bank too. You see, the light of the Creator or the messianic teachings is totally against written Torah, and you got the messianic Israelites trying to combine them, trying to make them the same thing. Now, bro was revolutionary for sure, yeah, but his revolution wasn't with blades and bats and. He was attacking what was written down. He was attacking the authorities. You dig? And notice one thing he did. He freed the animals when he did that. Take these things hence, get these things out of her. Y'all see that? So if you see that they actually were within their right according to the written Torah, and Yeshua attacked that whole setup, heard nothing about what you got written down. What you mean? That's off. And he freed the animals. The animals who are about to be sold to get their damn head chopped off and organs removed. Throats cut, blood collected, blood splattered. He went in there and saved them from a death sentence. They was about to be, especially them doves. They was going to wring the neck They was gonna wring the neck on the dove. The turtle dove. Oh yeah, his neck was about to get wringed off. Meaning they twisted to the head pop off. Yeah, them oxen and them sheep and all that. Yeah, they was about to get their throats slit. And while they were hanging upside down and getting their blood collected in a big bowl, a large bowl, they was about to be skinned down to the muscle tissue. And then organs removed. Yeah, you get to cutting out organs after that. So you got to go into the chest cavity and pull down, yank down. Yeah, you got to cut some organs out, cut the fat off the organs. Don't forget you can chop this damn head off too. So this revolutionary Messiah, Big Bruh, he basically attacked the temple. It was at the Passover. They was in the temple. They had the right to, buy oxen and sheep and doves for the purposes of, sacrificing and all that. You see that? And what he do? He's totally against this Deuteronomy 14, giving them the right to do it. What did he do? He made a bullwhip and drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen. See, he drove them all out of the temple, the sheep and the oxen. See, they were about to be sold off to be quartered off. They was about to be sold off to be quartered off. Then he poured the money out. The money that you brought from a far country to buy these, pour all that out. Get this the hell out of her. No way. It makes sense. It makes sense. Let's look at Mark 11 through 15. Look at Mark 11 through 15. Easy work. Easy work. And look at this. And they came to Jerusalem, and Jesus went to the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple. But again, according to Deuteronomy 14, 22 through 26, they can do that. And overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. And would not suffer that any man should carry any vessel through the temple. And he taught them, saying unto them, is it not written, my house should be called of all nations the house of prayer? But you have made it a den of thieves. And the scribes and chief priests heard it and saw how they might destroy him. Look at them scribes. There we go. When he did that, when he attacked that temple, you did. Those scribes, who are judges on the Supreme Court, when he attacked that temple right there, look what happened. You got the scribes right there, and the scribes and chief priests heard it and saw how they might what? Destroy him. For they feared him because all the people was astonished at his doctrine. They like, because what he's teaching is polar opposite of what you niggas is teaching. What y'all teaching has the people bound. They're not set free. You got the people bound and you got the animals bound. Oh, wait. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody mad. I already know. Most of the devotees get mad at what they do. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Did this revolutionary Messiah just go into the temple in Jerusalem and shut down the whole economy? Make no mistake, this was an all-out attack on the temple's economy. After all, according to Torah, they had the right to exchange currency and buy sacrifices for high holy days, especially if their travel was too far. Let's go back to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, the recognitions of Clement. Peter speaks again, Homilies 3, chapter 45, sacrifices. Look what it says. Yeah, you're going to be mad. You know what I mean? But that's one thing we don't do. We don't hesitate. We don't lip fumble. We don't mighty cuddle. Nah, right to it. Right to it. There's no other way to deal with rebellious individuals. There's no other way. There's no other way. Sometimes you got to punch them in the mouth with this truth. Sometimes you got to punch them right in the mouth with it and just let them deal with it. All right, Homilies 3, chapter 45, sacrifices, but that he is not pleased with sacrifices. It's shown by this. Those who lusted after flesh. See, there is no flesh eating, y'all, without sacrificing. Devotee running around here talking some, if I just want me an everyday cheeseburger, or if I just wanted to go to the gas station and get some chicken wings, let me help you out, genius. You wouldn't be able to chew on that chicken tender or that tenderloin had not that animal been slain. But that he is not pleased with sacrifices is shown by this. Those who lusted after flesh were slain as soon as they tasted it and were buried. So that it was called the grave of lusts. He then who at the first was displeased with the slaughtering of animals, not wishing them to be slain, did not ordain sacrifices as desiring them, nor from the beginning did he require them. For neither are sacrifices accomplished without the slaughter of animals, nor can the first fruits be presented. You see that? You're not chewing on that steak. You ain't chewing on that chicken, that turkey, that lamb, that goat, that gator meat, that pig, whatever it is you call yourself eating on. It's nice and tender, Johnny. It's impossible for you to eat on it and cook it if the animal had not been slain first. Slain. Same book, Nazarene, Acts of the Apostles, chapter 36, allowance of sacrifice for a time. This is Peter again. If y'all don't got the Nazarene, Acts of the Apostles, I would say get it. You know what I mean? I would say, you know what I mean? It's an excellent read. And what it shows is, just like we just read, in Bible, what it shows is that Messiah and his clan or his tribe, they was totally against what was written down. What he was teaching was totally different. It was not the same. It's not the same. It's not. It's not. Look at this, chapter 36, allowance of sacrifice for a time. When meantime, Moshe, that faithful and wise steward, perceived that the vice of zebaying or sacrificing to idols had been deeply ingrained. That deal say deeply ingrained. Dang. Into the people from their association with the Egyptians. And that the root of this evil. So we call them sacrificing evil, y'all. Killing innocent animals, evil. This is what Peter is saying. And Peter is teaching his understudy what Yahshua taught him. Look, and that the root of this evil could not be extracted from them. He, Moses, allowed them sacrificing. But permitted it to be done only to Yahweh, that by any means he might cut off one half of the deeply ingrained, what word, y'all? Evil. Evil. Peter called sacrifice animals evil twice. And then called it lustful back in the other passage we just read. See, you don't like this message because it forces you to discipline that stomach. You got to start telling your stomach, look, you don't command me, I command you. You don't get to just hit me like a ton of a ton of steel and I just obey your every little suggestion. No, it don't work like that. No, you don't command me. I command you. You see? Look at this. Leaving the other half to be corrected. Destroyed by another and at a future time by him, namely concerning whom he said himself. A prophet will Yahweh your Elohim raise unto you, whom you will hear even as myself, according to all things that he will say to you. Whosoever will not hear that prophet, his spirit will be cut off from his people. Let's get into chapter 37. Let's read about the temple. We already reading that flesh eating is lustful. You dig that it's a deeply ingrained evil to sacrifice an animal. It's a deeply ingrained evil. And Moses is the one that's allowing this. This has nothing to do with the correct. In addition to these things, he also appointed a place in which alone should be lawful to them to sacrifice to Yahweh. And all this was arranged with this view that when the fitting time should come and they should learn by means of Yeshua that Yahweh desires mercy and not sacrifice, and they might see him who should teach them that the place chosen of Yahweh in which it was suitable, that victims, look what it calls the innocent animals being slaughtered, victims. In which it was suitable that victims should be offered to Yahweh in his wisdom, and that on the other hand, they might hear that this place which seemed chosen, promised land, seemed chosen for a time, often harassed as it had been by hostile invasions and plunderings, was at last to be wholly destroyed. You see that? Look at this. Look at this. This right here is wild. In order to impress this upon them, even before the coming of Yeshua, who was to reject, not replace, not he fulfills the blood offerings and the burnt offering. No. Trick no good, Saul of Tarsus. Trick no good. Look what it says. It says right here, who was to reject at once Zebaim or sacrifices and the place. He was to reject the sacrifices and the temple. Remember, he attacked the temple, freed the animals. Get the hell out of here. It was often plundered by enemies and burned with fire. And the people carried into captivity among foreign tribes, and then brought back when they betook themselves to the mercy of Yahweh, that by these things they might be taught. See, life is a lesson, right? That they might be taught that the people who offer, sacrifices are driven away and delivered up into the hands of the enemy. But they who do mercy and righteousness are without sacrificing, freed from captivity and restored to their native land. But it fell out. Listen to what Peter's saying. But it fell out that very few understood this. But a greater number, though they could perceive, that was the rest of it. It's like a couple more words, you know what I mean? Few understood this. Bang. Flat out. But see, that right there is that you know that all that sacrificing going on, and a lot of times, y'all, that was twice a day. And forget about the high holy days. Good night. Forget about the high holy days. Good night. You know how many heads got to get chopped off, and how many burnt offerings got to get released into the atmosphere, and good night, boy. So the whole point was to show that, look, you done turned this dwelling place into a slaughterhouse. It's blood every damn where. You supposed to learn that there's a reason why your temple keep getting attacked and you getting thrown head first into some type of captivity. Thank Genghis. What are you doing wrong? I mean, after all, it's all written in Torah, right? It's written down that, you're supposed to be offering the deity twice a day on an average day, burnt offerings and all that, and then once the feast, how holy days come around, he want his blood. That's just what it is. But Yahshua and his clan was teaching opposite of what was written down. You see that? Opposite. And he's like, look, you were supposed to learn that, look, a people who do sacrifices, chewing on them and sacrificing them, they eventually end up being brought into captivity. Only those who work righteousness and show mercy or without sacrifice is free from captivity. That's the messianic teaching behind it. You're not supposed to be spilling blood. You're going to say, well, I didn't kill it, but you're eating it though. See? Even in Leviticus, tell you, he that eateth it. The Gospel of the Nazarene. This is another one. Another book that we have. See that? Look what it say. And certain of the elders and scribes from the temple came unto him, saying, why do your disciples teach men that it is unlawful to eat the flesh of beasts, though they be offered in sacrifice as by Moses ordained? For it is written, God said to Noah, the fear and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the field and every bird of the earth and every fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Into your hand they are delivered. And Yahshua said unto them, you hypocrites, well did Isaiah speak of you and your forefathers, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. For in vain do they worship me, teaching and believing and teaching for divine doctrines, the commandments of men in my name, but to satisfy their own lusts. As also Jeremiah bare witness when he saith, concerning blood offerings and sacrifices, our Lord God commanded none of these things in the day that you came out of Egypt. But only this I commanded you to do: righteousness, walk in the ancient paths, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. But you did not hearken to me, who in the beginning gave you all manner of seed and fruit of trees, and seed having been for the food and healing of man and beast. And they said, you speak against the law. Look, that's what they say about us today. You created gang niggas are anti this, you speak against the law. Look how this revolutionary Essenes Nazarite brother answers. And he said, against Moses, indeed, I do not speak, nor against the law, but against them who corrupted his law, which he permitted for the hardness of your hearts. See, like, I don't speak against Moses nor the Torah. I'm speaking against those who corrupted his Torah, corrupted his law. Well, who that could have been? Who are the ones writing it out, scribing it out? Who we talking about here, y'all? Who are the ones who corrupted Moses' Torah? Because who we calling Yahshua is totally against what's written down. He got a problem with what's written down. And he ain't trying to make a square circle. He ain't trying to make an apple orange. He doing what we do. Or we doing what he was doing. Tripping. On that. What's up? And he said against Moses, indeed, I do not speak, nor against the Torah law, but against them who corrupted this law, which he permitted for the hardness of your hearts. But behold, a greater than Moses is here. Greater than Moses is right here. And they were angry or wrath and took up stones that cast at him, really. And Yahshua passed through their midst and was hidden from their violence. See what he did? He got about it, or he didn't stick around and just, get bow-legged in the shoulders. You got to know when to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm out of here. These religious devotees will kill you. Make no mistake about it. Remove you off the board if they could. Notice he's hidden from their violence. Why? Because guess what? It seems, and Nazarene faith is like we all. Yeah. We peaceful people. We ain't even trying to, put you on the floor. Hopefully you don't get out of line. You know what I mean? But these peaceful people, man. You dig? Chapter 44, God's book of Estra. Doctrines of Joshua and his death. These are my doctrines as I taught through Joshua. You shall keep the 10 commandments of Moses. You should not engage in war nor abet war. You shall not eat flesh of any. You shall eat no flesh of any animal, fish, bird, fowl, or creeping thing that Jehovah created alive. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. As we see, Messiah was against the temple sacrifice and offerings. He attacked the temple and shut it down. He also freed the animals or victims who were about to be purchased for the sake of slaughter. The law of adultery, conflict number 5. Really? Lying pen of them scribes, boy. Let me check the chat. Let me check the trap real quick. My brother Abiel, he always saying, let me check the trap. Yeah, going on around these parts. Dang. Fat P's. What's up, Hawk? What's love, brother? Oh, wait. Those corrupt scribes with some lying motherfuckers, man. These niggas, hey, I'm telling you, they held that sway and that power, man. You did. But I'm rocking, man. Look, I'm rocking with how Big Bro was rocking. I'm already hated by these mumble mouth misfortunates. You know what I mean? And I can look, I like it. I'm good. I'm glad you don't like it. Good. Trying to be liked by a whole bunch of religious, narcissistic devotees. No, man. Just real spill. All right, let's get this. Let's get this. That's right. This tab ain't playing. That's right. Bang. I see y'all in the deal. Hold on. What you say? Years ago, I attended a Messianic congregation and was told that the priest would be wading in blood from the slain. Yeah. Man, listen to me. You talking about that blood all up on their garments. I'm talking about it's coming off the floor. I mean, way past your shoe lining or wherever your boots is at. Man, you're in puddles of blood. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's get into this. Yeah, the law of adultery. Conflict number 5, the law of adultery. Leviticus 20:10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer, the man, and the adulteress, the woman, shall surely be put to death. Clear cut from the biblical perspective, having sex with another man's wife is the death penalty for the man and woman. Oh, wait. John 8:1-11. You know it well. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple. And all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes, there go these niggas again. These scribes, man. Look, y'all, I'm telling you, look, get into them. Look, start studying. You're going to see. You're going to be like, man, you niggas is right there. They right there. Right? Very powerful, very influential. Look, the scribes, y'all, are the feds. Yeah, they indicted Yahshua. He was federally indicted. He was federally indicted. They could have hit him with the RICO. Oh man, running a continuous criminal organization. Oh my God, man. They could have hit Mashiach with, they could have hit Yahshua with the RICO. The feds indicted him. He was indicted by the feds, man. Dang, son. Dang, son. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto them a woman taken in adultery. And trip off this. Why are you powerful men, right, who could order my death at the snap of my finger, bring in an adulterous woman in my presence? You already got sway over the people. You already got influence over everybody. You already making money hand over fist. Why now? So what you need to bring this adulterous woman before Yahshua for? Like what? Like what's the reason behind it? You know what I mean? And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. When they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him that they might have to accuse him. But Yahshua stooped down and with his finger rolled on the ground as though he heard them not. Like, yeah, anyway. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the elders, even unto the last. Yahshua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Now when Yeshua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Have no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Whoa. Notice, not only does Messiah not enforce the Torah and stone this woman, he tells her to go and sin no more, meaning she was committing adultery. Notice also, it's these damn scribes, once again, as Messiah's ops. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say to you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if your right eye offends you, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. The issue of lust and what lies at the core of your heart is addressed. Lust itself leads to adultery through the eye gate and through the sense of touch. You'll reach out and touch what doesn't belong to you. If you're lusting after a married woman, you are guilty of adultery, even if the physical act hasn't taken place. Lust equals adultery. Dang. Conflict number 6, the law of murder. The law of murder. Exodus 20:13, thou shalt not kill. Which I agree with, you know. And thine eye should not pity, Deuteronomy 19:21, and thine eye should not pity, but life should go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, and foot for foot. Get on your good foot, Johnny. Get on your good foot. The fruit all this produces is a whole bunch of handicapped individuals. You're either going to have no life at all, one eye, snag a tooth, one hand, or one foot. Matthew 5:21-22. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill. Here is written. And whoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of a hell fire. So in essence, anger, if left unchecked, leads to murder. If you're mad at anyone without a cause, you are currently guilty of murder. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, this is a good one here, because you hear people all the time, no, Ak. Shalawam, Ak. You're going off, Ak. Conflict number 7. And this one right here is very, very powerful. You know what I mean? Very, very powerful. Think not that I come to destroy the law, the Torah, or prophets. So now, Mally, you going off? All the head chopping is lawful? Huh? All the organ cutting is lawful? All the blood splattering is lawful? See, you're going off. Y'all know this is chess, not checkers, right? Let's get into it. Matthew 5:17-20. Think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. You know, we do got the prophets saying that the Most High don't want none of this, but, you know, let's keep reading. 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. You like, bro, heaven and earth ain't passed yet. That's what you going off, not the littlest jot or tittle shall leave the Tawara or the Torah to all be fulfilled. And then Christ ain't even came back yet, So you just going off, I mean, there's no way you can get around this, Look at this. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Now you reading about your position in the kingdom of heaven. Not only are you breaking the commandment of not bringing the deity these blood offerings and these burnt offerings, you're teaching people to do so. Look at this. But whoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall see the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Why you gotta bring the scribes up? Dang. Scribes, remember, the scribes are the one copying out Torah, the law. You shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Oh, wait, let's get some breakdown and some understanding about this. Because Peter actually broke down. And explained what that means. Bro, listen to me. And crazy part is we've been talking about these scribes the whole time, right? So we know that scribes have interjected lies. Now look at Peter's breakdown. This is what Yahshua taught him. And this is what he was teaching his understudy. Of think not that I come to destroy the law of the prophets. The Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Homilies 3, chapter 51. His teaching, or Yahshua's teaching, concerning Torah. Oh. His word to the scribes and teachers, the morim of the existing scriptures, as to those who knew the true things of the Torah that then was as well known. And also that he said, I am not come to destroy the Torah. We just read that, right? Look at this. And yet that he appeared to be destroying it is the part of one intimating that the things that he destroyed did not belong to the Torah. Hold on. So you mean to tell me everything that he was speaking against, hostile against, in conflict with, was never a part of the Torah to begin with? Wow. Oh, so that means if it was never a part of the Torah, but it's written in there, who put them in there? Back to Jeremiah 8:8. How can you say we are wise and that the Torah of Yahweh or Yah is with us, when in fact, the lion pen of the scribes? Well, in fact, the scribes have written into it lies and things which it really does not say. Good night, boy. You mean to tell me the whole time we've been reading him speaking against what's written down is because he knew that, guess what? None of that is a part of the higher light. None of that is a part of the Torah or the instructions given by his father. None of it. Everything that he was hostile against and attacked wasn't a part of it anyway. It was put in there by lying-ass men. God, man. If y'all understand that, drop a 2,000 in the chat. Hold on. And look, you can go right. You can go to the homilies or the Nazarene Acts if you got to. It's right there. In the back, they got the lost teachings of Mashiach. And when I read this, I say, oh, there it is. A devotee better not ever in his life try to read that scripture to me again and think we about to hold on to burnt offerings. And throat slitting and organ cutting and blood splattering. The things that Yahshua was hostile against, and the reason he was hostile against them, including the overthrowing of the banker's table, including the selling of the animals for the purpose of sacrificing them, everything that he spoke against and acted against is because, y'all, it was never a part of the Torah to begin with. It was put in there by lying men called scribes. And don't forget, these scribes are holding councils on how they might destroy him. Why? If he's in agreement with the written Torah, why the scribes trying to get at him? Why they trying to put him to death? And why are they sitting as judges on the Supreme Court, the very court that brought a secret indictment against Yahshua, the revolutionary Messiah? Good Lord, boy. Good Lord. So now, not one jot or one tittle shall pass from the law to all be fulfilled. What law? The Creator's way, the Creator's Torah. The lost teachings of Moses that he came to restore. You see? Whatever he was hostile against, whatever he attacked, and whatever the hell you ain't even doing anymore. Ain't none of you niggas offering up no burnt offerings. You're not doing none of this stuff. You're not going to Jerusalem, not keep no feast days and none of that. You're not even doing none of this. You know why you're not doing it? Do you know why? Drum roll, Johnny. Do you know why you're not doing it? It's because it was never part of the original Torah to begin with. Thus Jeremiah says, in the day I brought you out of Egypt, I never commanded burnt offerings and sacrifices. Oh, a man did. Oh, my God, man. Yeah. They may try to hang us off the gateway arch for this one. Let's read it again. It's right there. Excellent read. Whatever got destroyed, whatever he was against, whatever he attacked, and he was attacking what was written down. It's because what was written down was never part of the original Torah to begin with. I pray y'all understand this. Homilies 3, chapter 51. His teachings, Yahshua's teaching concerning Torah. And this is Peter, an apostle, teaching his understudy about what Yahshua taught him. Look, his word, Yahshua's word to the scribes, there they go. And morim. Morim is plural for teachers of the existing scriptures. As to those who knew the true things of the Torah that then was is well known. And also that he said, I am not come to destroy the law. And yet that he appeared to be destroying it. is the part of one intimating that the things that he destroyed did not belong to the Torah. Boy, y'all, look, leave me alone. Yeah, leave me alone, because I'm tripping. Look at this. And he's saying the heaven and the earth will pass away, but not one least letter or punctuation will pass from the Torah. Verse 50 intimated that the things which pass away before the heaven and the earth do, before the heaven and the earth do so, do not belong to the Torah in the first place. Good night, boy. Good night. Good night. It's time to tuck him on in. Feed, burp, feed and burp, you Negroes. It's time to tuck you on in. Night, because when you use to read that, think not that I come to destroy the law of the prophets. I came not to destroy, but to fulfill, till heaven and earth pass. Not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law to all be fulfilled. And you're reading this thinking that everything you read in the Torah is still binding and standing. You dig? And you ain't even practicing none of that. So the fact is you're not even offering up burnt offerings and doing all that, you know why? It's because it was never a part of it anyway. And you ain't got to accept this, but Jeremiah said the same thing. Isaiah said the same thing. Amos, Isaiah's father, said the same thing. I despise your feast days. I delight not in the lamb's blood and all this madness you got going on. No. Everything that you ain't even doing. Look, you ain't even doing the feast days according to the law. You ain't even doing them exactly how I see it. So the reason you're not doing any of it is because y'all, guess what? It's dead in the water. It's dead in the water. Look at this. Homilies 3, chapter 52. Look what it say. Since then, while the heaven and the earth still stand, look at this. Look at this. Since then, while the heaven and the earth still stand, sacrifices have passed away, and kingdoms and prophecies among those who are born of women, and such like as not being ordinances of the Creator. Hence, therefore, he says, every plant which the Heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. So if it ain't from the Creator, look, it's cannon fodder anyway. It's fuel for the fire anyway. If he ain't planted, it got to come up anyway. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. I know you mealy-mouthed devotees are angry right now. You're probably foaming at the mouth, trying to curse the Macabee to no avail. I roll with the Creator, the maker of every God that you ever uttered off your lips. So you're not even dealing with no higher authority than me. You see? So it took to no avail. We're going to speak this truth even though it hurts. Messiah indicted by the feds. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might what? Destroy him. Mark 11 and 18. And the scribes and chief priests heard it and sought how they might destroy him. For they feared him, because all the people were astonished at his doctrine. You know why? Because he was openly attacking what these cats had written down. And what they had written down, the people believed. So they had a stronghold on the people religiously, spiritually, and when it came to the politics of the land. The Messiah is straight revolutionary, but it ain't got nothing to do with no daggers and no bats and no clubs. He's spiritually chin-checking your deity. He's spiritually set tripping. He God tripping. That's what's happening. Remember, he told them, you ain't never seen my Father, nor heard his voice at any time. So that means that he straight told him, you are your father, the devil. So who he was talking about, and which he was talking about the creator, and who they was talking about, y'all two different. So that's why the doctrine different. You see? These scribal authorities be in opposition to that highlight, man. You dig? And the fact that he actually was opening up the Bible, that you know was the Bible today, and saying, nah, that's off. No, this is right here, but that's off right there. Nah, we ain't doing that. Dang, Luke 9. Look what it said right here. It say Luke 19:47, and he taught daily in the temple. But the chief priests and the scribes, there they go again. But the chief priests and the scribes and the chief of the people sought to destroy him. Because if he's shattering what they wrote down, then they no longer have the sway or the influence over the minds of the people. You know what I mean? But don't forget the scribes, they the feds. They the feds. This is not Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper. Nah, these are some powerful men. Very, very powerful. And look how they're seeking to destroy him. Like a lot of y'all want to do with us. But to no avail, though. To no avail. Easy money. Look at this. John 11:47-53. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees, a council, and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. What is council, Malachi? An assembly, especially of magistrates, judges, and ambassadors, whether convened to deliberate or pass judgment. Any session or assembly or people deliberating or adjudicating, see? Passing judgment. The Sanhedrin, the great council at Jerusalem, consisting of the 71 members, scribes, elders, prominent members of the high priestly families, and the high priest, the president of the assembly. Wow. The most important causes were brought before this tribunal. Dang. Inasmuch as the Roman rulers of Judea had left to it the power of trying such cases, and also of pronouncing sentence of death, with the limitation that a capital sentence pronounced by the Sanhedrin was not valid unless it was confirmed by the Roman procurator. Good night, boy. So they can pronounce the death, but it has to be confirmed by the Roman governor or procurator that's over that section. Dang, a smaller tribunal or council, which every Jewish town had for the decision of less important cases. So Rome had to sign off on the death too. Dang. If we let him alone, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people. For the people. She for the people and by the people. Shout out to Fred Hampton, man. He for the people. That one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahshua should die for that nation. Why? I bet you won't put your neck on the chopping block. I get it. I get it. Look at this. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together for to put him to death. Indicted by the feds, and they owe the niggas the death penalty. Why? Because he's attacking what you got written down in your Bible. And what you got written down in your Bible today in Torah, Messiah was attacking that all day. Yahshua was on that. Like, what's up? He brought that light of the creator to the world, and guess what? You killed him for it. He was murdered by urine drinking, black-hearted bastards. How about that? You murdered this man because he told you the truth. That's what happened. Now, both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given commandment that if any man knew where he were, he should show it that they might take him or arrest him. Scribes is officers of the highest court. The term scribe in Greek, grammatius, or in Hebrew, sofer, is often simplified to mean one who writes. However, in the context of the New Testament, these men were much more than just copyists of the Torah. They were highly educated experts in Jewish law, known as scribal jurists, and held significant judicial political power. The primary role was to interpret and apply the Mosaic law, making them the leading legal authorities of their day. This made them officers of the highest court in the land. The Sanhedrin, which was the supreme judicial body of ancient Israel. The Sanhedrin was composed of 71 members, including the high priests, Sadducees, Pharisees, and a significant number of these scribes. The scribes' role within the Sanhedrin gave them direct involvement in the legal proceedings and judgments of the nation. They were essentially the legal scholars and judges who presided over cases, including those concerning religious and capital offenses. This position placed them in direct opposition to Yeshua, as they perceived his teachings as a threat to their authority and their interpretation of the law. They were not merely passive observers, they were active participants in the legal and religious system that ultimately tried and condemned Yeshua. Their power was derived from both their knowledge of the law and their official position within the Sanhedrin, making them formidable and influential enemies of Messiah. Matthew 23, 1 through 4, 13 through 15, 23 through 33. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Look, for verse 13, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer you them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses. Y'all, they doing all this manipulation based off what has been written in the Bible of their day. They doing all type of, they have all type of manipulation going on with the people. Whether it's a widow, whether it's an elder, whether it's a youngin, whatever's going on. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you can pass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. He's basically sharply rebuking he's sharply rebuking the feds. Now, the political and religious authority that got the right at the snap of a finger to kill him. Did he allow his tongue to be silenced? Staring death right in the face, did he flinch? No. Y'all gonna understand and learn real quick today. I'm about to royally bless your ears. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whited sepulchres. I don't like that. I thought it was sepulchres. Brother tried to correct me one time. Malleus sepulchres. That don't even sound right. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men. And these are the men, y'all, that's responsible for teaching you the Torah. Don't forget that. Writing it out, teaching it, interpreting it. They the teachers of it. They just hold extreme political power. They can put you to death if you talk against them. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood. Spilling blood, look, in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves that you are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up in the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. Dang, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Corruption of the Torah, lost messianic teachings, you know what I mean? And y'all see how we rock. We just, we just keep going. It's what it is. You dig? Look at this right here. Let's get into some of this before we close out. We've been on about 3.5 hours. It feel like 3.5 minutes, if you ask me. You dig? Well, let's get into some of this. Corruption of the Torah, lost messianic teachings. Homilies 2, chapter 38, corruption of the Torah. Now, listen, this is, once again, is Peter teaching his understudy what Yahshua taught him. Now, this is what Peter is saying. He say, for the scriptures have joined to them many falsehoods against Elohim on this account. The prophet Moses, by the order of Elohim, delivered the Torah with the explanations to 70 chosen men, in order that they also might instruct such of the people as they chose. After some time, the written Torah had added to it certain falsehoods. Look, see, it ain't just Jeremiah 8:8 saying it. It ain't other spots in the Bible saying it. Y'all, even in the Nazarene Essenes literature, is letting it be known. After some time, the written Torah had added to it certain falsehoods, contrary to the Torah of Elohim, who made the heaven and the earth and all things in them. The evil one, the tempter, having dared to work this for his evil purpose. Good night, boy. This took place. Because you're going to ask, well, why? This took place in reason and judgment, that those might be convicted who should dare to listen to the things written against the Most High. You're really saying these things was done by the evil one, but it happened. The reason it happened is because those who really roll with the Almighty would die before they put a evil jacket on him. You ain't about it. I'm not watering down the Creator just to be accepted by a whole bunch of mumble mouth devotees for what? This took place in reason and judgment that those might be convicted who should dare to listen to things written against the Almighty. And those who through love toward him should not only disbelieve the things spoken against him, but should not even endure to hear them at all, even if they should happen to be true, judging it much safer to incur danger. Said, I'd rather put myself in the crosshairs, judging it much safer to incur danger with respect to religious faith than to live with an evil conscience on account of blasphemous words. Good night, boy. Good night. Homily 2, chapter 39, tactics. Now, Peter was arguing with a guy named Simon Magus, Simon the sorcerer. and he was debating them in front of a whole bunch of folk. You know what I mean? Look at this. So this is what Peter telling his understudy now. He say, Simon, therefore, as I learned, intends to come into public and to speak of those chapters against Elohim that are added to the scriptures for the sake of temptation, that he may seduce as many wretched ones as he can from the love of the Almighty. So he like, look, my enemy knows that there are scriptures that are added to the Torah that are against the Creator. His enemy, he about to debate, know that. You see? And what he's saying is, watch this. He like him knowing that he could easily deceive those who don't know no better. Easily. Look, for we do not wish to say in public, this is Peter speaking. He said, for we do not wish to say in public that these chapters are added to the scripture. He said, I don't want to say that in front of everybody, since we should thereby perplex the unlearned multitudes, and so accomplish the purpose of this evil Simon. For they do not yet have the power to discern, and would flee from us as if we were evil, or as if not only the blasphemous chapters were false. He let it be known, like, look, bro, look, there are things written in the Torah added by scribes that, you understand, that ain't got nothing to do with the Almighty. Now, he's telling his understudy this. He like, the man I'm about to debate tomorrow, he know all this. As if not only the blasphemous chapters were false, they would even withdraw from the word. Wherefore, we are under a necessity of assenting to the false chapters, meaning we got to talk about them, and putting questions in return to him concerning them, to draw him into a strait and to give in private an explanation of the chapters that are spoken against Elohim, to the well-disposed after a trial of their faith. And of this there is but one way, and that a brief one. It is this. Look at this. Homilies 2, chapter 40. Everything that is spoken or written against the Almighty is false. Oh, see what kind of mindset you got to have? Peter's saying everything that is spoken or written. Who wrote it down? The scribes. Everything that is spoken or written against the Most High is false. That you want to develop that mindset. If you want to be victorious in this, if you really want to get out of this, you have to develop the mind that, look, it don't matter what I read or where I read it at, or what I heard, or where I'm at when I hear it, right? If it is against the Creator, it's false. Everything that is spoken or written against Elohim is false, but that we say this truly, not only for the sake of reputation, but for the sake of truth. I will convince you when my discourse has proceeded a little further. You, my most beloved Clement, ought not to be sorry at Simon having interposed a day between this and the discussion at hand. For the discussion, you will be instructed concerning the chapters added to the scriptures. And then in the discussion concerning the only one in good, Elohim, the maker of the world, you are not to be distracted. But in the discussion, you will even wonder how unrighteous men, overlooking the multitudes of things that are spoken in the scriptures for Elohim, and looking at those that are spoken against him, gladly bring these forth. And thus the hearers, by reason of ignorance, believe in the things against the Almighty, become outcasts from his kingdom. Wherefore you, by advantage of the postponement, learning the mystery of the scriptures and gaining the means of not sinning against the Almighty, will incomparably rejoice. Homilies 2, chapter 41, asking for information, not contradiction. Do not suppose that I ask questions as doubting the words concerning the Most High, of those that are to be spoken, but rather that I may learn and so be able myself to instruct another who's unaccustomed to learning. So tell me the falsehoods added to the scriptures and how it is that they are really false. Then Peter answered, Even although you had not asked me, I would have gone on in order and afforded you the exposition of these matters as I promised. Learn then how the scriptures misrepresent him in many respects, so that you may know when you happen upon them. Homilies 2, chapter 42. The right notions of Elohim are essential to holiness. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. It's going down. I mean, you got to have a right disposition when it comes down to the Almighty. You know what I mean? Can't be out here playing, tiptoeing through the tulips. Right here. Where I'm at. I think I'm right. I read it already. Yeah, we read all everything. All right, right here. We're going to jump down here. Homilies 3, chapter 55. We're going to read this on out. We're going to close up. Look at this. But to those who think, as the scriptures teach, that Elohim swears, he said, let your yes be yes and no, no. For what is more than these is of the who? The evil one. So the actual oaths and vows that Numbers 30 say you can take, the messianic perspective is the evil one put that in there. It is. And to those who say that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were dead, he said Elohim is not of the dead, but of the living. And to those who suppose that Elohim tempts, as the scriptures say, he said the tempter is the evil one, who also tempted himself. To those who suppose that Elohim is not for no, he said, for your heavenly Father knows you need all these things before you ask him. And to those who believe, as the scriptures say, that he does not see all things, he said, pray in secret, and your Father who sees secret things will reward you. Ooh-wee. Homilies 3, chapter, 56, more teaching of Yahshua. And to those who think that he is not good, or that he is created, and to those who think that he is not good, as the scriptures say, he said, Yahshua said, from which of you will his son ask bread, and he will give him a stone? Or will ask a fish, and he will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your heavenly Father give good things to those who ask him, and to those who do his will? But to those who affirm that he was in the temple, he says, swear not by heaven, for his Elohim's throne, nor by the earth, for his footstool or his feet. And to those who suppose that Elohim is pleased with sacrifices, chopping heads off animals, he said Elohim wishes mercy and not sacrifices, the knowledge of himself and not holocaust. What is a holocaust, y'all? A burnt offering. A burnt offering. And a burnt offering is very specific. Leviticus, the first chapter. A chopped off head, a slit throat, blood collected, then the head gets chopped off. Then the animal gets flayed or skinned down to the muscle tissue. Then the organs get cut out, chest cavity get open, organs get cut out, fat get cut off organs. Then the lower extremities, the legs get cut off and washed with the organs in water. And then the chopped off head and the dismembered corpse and the organs and the legs, all they go on that altar is a holocaust, a burnt offering, as a sweet smelling savor. Homilies 3, chapter 57, even more teaching of Mashiach. But to those who are persuaded that the Almighty or the Creator is evil, as the scriptures say, he said, do not call me good, for one only is good. And again, be good and merciful as your Father in the heavens is, who makes the sun rise on good and evil men, and brings rain upon just and unjust. But to those who were misled to imagine many gods, many Elohim, as the scriptures say, he said, "Hear, O Israel, Yahweh your Elohim is a God, one, unity." That's where we end at, y'all, right there. You see? So as you see, if y'all got some understanding today, man, y'all go ahead and spin a vortex up in the chat. But as you see, the revolutionary Messiah or Mashiach or the revolutionary Yashu, the Essene faithist, as you see, what he taught was in total opposition to the Bible of his day, which was written down. So Creator Gang is doing what Yashu was doing. Yeah. We doing the exact same thing he was doing. And got you millie mouth devotees foaming at the mouth. Y'all drop a vortex in the chat if y'all got some understanding, man. CGG is in the building. Creator gang, baby. Much love to the fam. Y'all drop that in the chat, man. Because the records get twisted. The meanings get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied, baby. Shout out to Cosmic Kyle. What up, Cloud Kicker? Good word, Cloud Kicker. Cosmic Crew. Y'all make sure y'all go like, subscribe, and share. Let's get her done. Enemies of the light. How Jewish scribes condemn the Nazarene. Oh man. Shout out to the 4 horsemen. Shout out to the Creator Gang. All the brothers and sisters. Dig. Shout out to the faithers worldwide, man. Believe that, know that. Shout out to the brothers and sisters that's coming out of the matrix. Understand there's a lot of blood in the water. And dig. Shout out to my brother, the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel George. Salute out, my comrade. Little work you doing, man. If y'all can, y'all go support that brother. Support that brother. ministerofwellness.com. Support that brother. You know what I mean? And what you doing this class, get on the door and make it happen. You know what I mean? We supposed to be doing it all over this earth. Even living with the poor, living amongst them. We doing that. Living amongst the less fortunate. Dig? Shout out to my sister Anna. What's the word, Anna? Much love. Much love. You know, when you talk and you live like this, to make them hate you. Y'all will be thinking this one day though. Like, man, I'm glad them brothers and sisters wasn't scared. Yeah, y'all already know. Records get twisted though, man. The meaning get disguised. Records get twisted. What's your sign? Oh wait! Shout out to the undergrads, man. Shout out to my brother Bronze. Shout out to my brother FGK Capone. You say no more monster God, boy. Hey, boy, that's the Minister of Wellness, bro. He be having me hollering. I ain't gonna front. He be calling the God monsters, the Levitical priests, vampires. I say he ain't lying. You know what I mean? Let's listen to some of this as we ride. Let's listen to this as we ride out. Much love, family. Love, light, and all that good stuff in between. That's good.
Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted. Records get twisted. Truth wasn't written, it lived and applied. Images carved, but they not what they imply. Copies get lifted and passed to the scribes, hands on the script, but it slowly run dry. Circles and lines held the truth they can't hide, pointing to the all but reduced to a sign. Told not to seek it, just stay and comply, but light get diminished the moment it's tied. Priests in the center, the people outside, words getting filtered before they even applied. Gatekeepers shaping what souls can't defy. Twist the truth in the text so the ego align. Nothing was said about looking inside. All of the noise outside keep the mind occupied. Truth was a whisper they learned to divide, buried in the scriptures that were written in lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Voices get carried and shift in the span. Truth leave the source, get reshaped by hand. Spoken outside, but not part of the plan. So hear it clear without the preaching of man. Leaders keep building the heavens they command. Guards along the path, so it passed through a brain. Teaching the code, so obedience stand. Blocking the truth from the masses caught up in the sham. Some start to notice it wasn't so grand. The rise then decline all across the land. Stories get buried, then uncovered in sand. Every time echo patterns they don't understand. Reading all the records, the mind expands. Seeing the same cycle that once sunk pan. The meanings got altered the further they ran, and they took it as truth, then made laws and declared. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth turned into lies. Looking at records, the truth can be known. Same things repeated, then written in stone. Teachings get layered and widely outgrown. Deeper foundations not built in the homes. Voices not living out, setting the tone. Taking his law, 9 followers grown. Those who will question get left on their own. Told just accept what the elders condone. Patterns keep repeating, times clearly flown. Rising and fall in the ways they have grown. Nothing was random, the seeds have been sown. Cycles keep turning and the harvest is wrong. Some start to see it and question the throne. Some keep defending when the proof has been shown. Nothing to argue, the cover's been blown. Just seeing it clear with no need to atone. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies. Records get twisted, the meaning get disguised. Symbols get praised while the spirit get denied. The Lord's fourth book is OSB's guide to how over time the truth's turn into lies.